In accordance with Section 45, yes, the meeting is going to begin very soon. Yeah, in accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of Committee of Adjustment of City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment consider applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to serve a property to create new lots. My name is Yim Chen. I will be chair this afternoon's hearing, and I also like to introduce our panel members today. It's from my far left is Mr. Philip Goss, and Mr. Gary McKay, and Mr. Paul Gauguin, and Mr. Larry Clay. And I also would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credits, the Anasabi, the Chippewa, and all those Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, including Inuit and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing might watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with the computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry, and when your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you will mute your devices until you're called to speak. And those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled, and you will only be visible during your 5 minutes speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled, and you will be restated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentation material submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during the video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. And how to receive a decision of the committee. People attending in person today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card. And those participating virtually need to submit a written request for decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and also the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and updates by email. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government have amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, such those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal. Yeah, this is and as I have echoes from my computer. Sorry. And Committee of Adjustment appeals instruction usually is outlined at the bottom of their decisions. And now I will read out our procedure. Usually, I will call each item listed on the agenda. And when you make your submission, When an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with the presentation, or if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I will comment on it when you're reaching your 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first, and then will make a presentation to the committee on the application. And please note, the committee might not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised. To ensure that the revision is accurate and all those entitled to notice are informed of the changes, then individuals who are in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we will call the people in the hearing room, and then we will move on to people participating through WebEx. Committee member may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all the speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speaker. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. I think we have some deferral requests in the afternoon, and also, do we have any files that had to be closed or?
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no files to be closed or withdrawn this afternoon. You can kindly ask if there's any declarations of interest.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, please, from the panel or from the staff, any conflict of interest? Okay,
None from staff.
No declarations. So.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I don't have a declaration of interest, but I would just like to put it on the record that due to a personal engagement, I'm going to have to leave around 6:15 should the hearing continue past that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for reminding us. We will try our best.
And we will still have quorum, so we can continue in any event. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we have a couple of items that make a deferral request. Can we deal with those if the applicants are available? Yeah.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, we have a deferral request this afternoon we have two deferral requests this afternoon, one from item number 19, municipal address of 877 Ossington Avenue, file number A1035/24TEY, and a deferral request from item number 22, municipal address of 62 HILLHOLM Road, file number A0281/25TEY. I understand that the registered speakers for both applications, as well as the agent, are available.
Okay, great. So we deal with number 19. Address is 277 Ossington Avenue. The purpose for this application is to construct a new 4-story apartment building with a front and a rear below-grade patios, front and rear balconies on all levels, and a side platform with stair, and a front and rear exterior staircases. Also to permit 9 bicycle parking spaces and a waste storage area in the rear yard. There will be a total of 10 residential dwelling units on this lot. We have received minutes from the February 19th, 2025 hearing, and we have a copy of survey, revised site plan, floor plans, elevations, 5 photographs of trees of the property, and a covering letter from the agent. We have a deferral request from the agent and a tree protection plan also received. And we have email corresponding from transportation and also urban forestry. there's a long list of opposition, so I will not read out everyone, but it will be 2, 6, 8. And then I will think about 30 to 35, 46 oppositions for this application. So since they are asking for deferral request, we will deal with that request first. Anyone want to speak to this item, we'll focus on the deferral request first. Yeah. Let's have the agent.
Costa, you've been unmuted.
Hello, my name is Costa Derbish with KFA Architects and Planners. I'm the applicant for the file.
Sorry, it's my computer. Yes.
Sorry, could you repeat your name again?
Yeah, can you have
Yes,
your name,
yeah.
address, and then can you also repeat the question? Sorry, I missed it. Yeah.
My name is Costa Derbish. I'm with KFA Architects and Planners at 197 Spadina Avenue in the City of Toronto. I'm the applicant for the file at 877 OSSIGTON Avenue, and I'm requesting a deferral at this committee date for a later date.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us the reasons, please?
Sure. We'd received additional comments from the counselor's office relative to their inputs from the local community and the community's concerns, in which they requested a design change, which moved the building further away from the rear and side lot conditions to improve the overall design as they saw it. My understanding now is the councillor is supportive of the change, and this was actually the second design iteration in response to community feedback, and is now going to result in the second deferral. And we're hopeful one of the last deferrals and a solution that we're hopeful that all parties can get behind. Anyway, so this change in the design required a revised zoning notice and a resubmission, which is going to result in another committee date being required at a later date.
Yes. Are you planning to have more public or community consultation also, besides what you work out with the councillor?
We held an initial community consultation meeting, and many of the community's concerns were raised and noted, and were integrated into the revised designs. And this has happened at several junctures now in the process. At this point, we don't have any more plans to have further meetings with the community.
Okay, but then I just wonder, because you have quite a list of oppositions. Have some of this? Have you managed to shorten your oppositions after the last consultation, or they still remain in opposition?
Well, we are working directly with the councillor's office, who is mediating between us and the community. Okay. We understand that there's a number of categories that the issues raised fall under, including traffic, sun shadow, stormwater, kind of overlook. So we feel that the revisions to the design have gone quite a fair distance in meeting those raised concerns. We understand, development in areas like this are going to, raise some concerns from local residents, and so we felt that we've been fair in working with the councillor and the local residents.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, yeah, we do feel that we've responded to the issues that have been raised.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so, Deputy Secretary Treasurer, so, yeah, we finished, we have someone want to speak to the deferral? Yeah, okay, that's it.
Hello?
Eric, you've been unmuted.
Yes, hi. My name is Eric. I'm a resident tenant at 879 Ossington Avenue.
Yeah.
And you want me to speak about the deferral itself? I guess my only question is how many deferrals are there are possible for this application since it's already
No,
been two?
we can't answer the question, but now they are asking for a deferral because they're going to incorporate what they have got from the period consultation into their revision, into their design revision. That is the reason for the deferral. So our question to you now is just whether you agree or disagree to grant the deferral.
Yeah, I suppose I agree with the
Okay.
deferral.
Thank you. That's all we need for now. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And next, yeah.
Oliver, you've been unmuted.
Good afternoon. My name is Oliver Laumeyer. I'm the owner of the property just right north, 879 Ossington.
Yes.
I want to just clarify a few things here prior to agreeing to a deferral. That the applicant had a public consultation, I think in January or prior to the February issuance, but not since. So yes, there has been probably communication with the councillor, but not with all neighbors, I would think. And our greatest concern hasn't been addressed, which is the setback to the property line on the north side, the 877 Ossington, is only 600 or 60 centimeters off the property line. And it's supposed to be 1.8 meters. So,
Sir?
yes.
Yeah, before we go into these details, actually, we just want to deal with the deferral first, only because your concerns are valid, obviously, but it seems that the applicant is willing to work with the councillor being the organizer or organize the community. I think this concern you probably still have time to discuss with the applicant. And right now, we are only dealing with the deferral request. The simple question is, do you agree with the deferral? Or, yeah.
I agree with the deferral.
Yeah. What? Yes.
I said
okay.
yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Through the chair, the next two residents are also listed to speak in opposition, but they both have the address of 195 Pendrith Avenue. So perhaps the next speaker can clarify if you're from the same household or if it's a different unit number, because it's just one speaker per household.
We're from the same household?
It's 195. Number, yeah.
Pendrith Street.
Okay. Are you speaking for both speakers or?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you hear the previous questions, right? Well, now we're just trying to.
Get a name?
Yeah, you
David,
give us a name and we got your address, 195, I guess.
David Hollowell,
Okay. Is 195, what street is that?
Pendrith Street. We are directly abutted to the northern part of 877 Ossington.
Okay. So you hear the discussion, right? We're going to discuss
did.
whether a deferral is preferred by you or not. Yeah.
Yep. So I will echo what Eric and Oliver have said. The community has spent a tremendous amount of time. There's over 40 letters this time of objection, 27 the previous time. The applicants are not working with the community. I am working feverishly with the community of adjustment, with community planning, and with the councillor's office to get everybody to sit down and figure out this solution. And we need a commitment for somebody to be empowered to make the applicant work with us, and it can't be a conduit just through the councillor's office.
Deputy Secretary, can you have some response? Because we can encourage community to communicate with each other. As members of the committee adjustment, we can only encourage. We cannot enforce that kind of behavior, right? You understand?
Please put it on record that this is not cooperative to the community and not in agreement with the way that this community is supposed to be worked with. And we have no trust that this will not waste the community of adjustment's time again, and we will not have to put forth the effort of objection as we've done twice now, because we have no visibility to the plans, and the revised plans this last time certainly did not revise them at all significantly. They moved the building 1 meter, so they are not addressing the concerns of the community.
Yeah, okay, we hear you. So do you still agree with the deferral request?
I agree with the deferral request.
Okay, thank you very much, yes. Next one, yeah.
Through the chair, that's all the registered household speakers.
Yeah, okay, can we bring back the applicant? Please, yeah.
Costa, you've been unmuted.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Sorry. Are you wanting my response to the?
No. Response. It seems that no one is opposed to deferral, but as we hear, there's a little bit of a discrepancy of their view of the deferral, what it does. And so we make sure that the reason you give us is including more consultation.
Well, if I could just respond to that, just first point is that we actually have circulated the plans back to the councillor's office for review by the committee. There's no issue on our part with that. So perhaps the neighbor from Pendrith Avenue can maybe just engage with the councillor's office and ask for the latest plans. We want to be transparent. We want to be open. The second point is the initial meeting was a non-statutory meeting, and of course we want to engage with the local community to get their input. So I don't think myself as the applicant and the client want to be opaque in this manner. We've definitely thought we've been working with the community to this point, and then with subsequent design revisions through the councillor's office. The building has been moved 1 meter most recently to the most recent design revision, but overall that's two meters from the initial design, which we feel is quite coming quite a ways. In terms of mitigating what the community concerns were in terms of the rear and side lot conditions and the shadow and the overlook. So we have a fixed constraint in terms of the lot dimensions, and we're doing as much as we can here at the same time trying to deliver a livable apartment building. So that's just yeah.
You don't have to explain to us the detail, but what I mean is that makes that your deferral reasons that it's not even focused on reaching out to the community again or not. It seems that it's not I think the councillor can coordinate some meeting, but I do not think that it's the councillor's duty to make sure that changes can reach to the community, right? Yes.
So just, we want to draw this to a conclusion, but I think what you're hearing is that the community, notwithstanding your discussions with the councillor's office, the community feels it hasn't had an opportunity to engage with you or your client directly. So you can choose to do whatever you want going forward, but you need to know that when this comes back to committee, whoever is sitting at that time is going to ask the very same question about whether you've had significant or substantive discussions with the neighborhood. And I would say particularly those who are directly impacted. We've got 40-odd letters, people from some distance, but some people who are very close. I think be well advised to come back to a future committee and demonstrate directly that you've had those discussions. You may or may not be able to get everyone on side, but I think we need some evidence that you've actually attempted to have those discussions.
Yeah. And also, in my comment, also, if we're going to grant a deferral, I think that we should include that as
Yeah,
one of
we did last time, too.
Yeah.
There was a consultation with the community last time, so
Okay.
I don't think
Let's-
going through
yeah,
the
let's leave it like that.
counselor's office is necessarily the only approach that should be taken.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and I completely agree, but we've had the initial community meeting, so we'll definitely consider that going forward, additional consultation.
Okay, thank you. I think the committee have actually expressed their opinion on this already. So now we are in committee to discuss whether deferral request is granted. Okay.
Yeah, I'll move deferral for the reasons to have further discussions and refine the application and make sure that the proposal is finalized.
Okay, and Mr. Gogan, second. All in favor for the deferral? All in favor, it's deferred, this item. Thank you very much. Yeah. And our next deferral request is number, which number? 22. Okay, number 22 is 62 HILLHOLM Road. This application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with a front horseshoe driveway and a covered front porch with stair and a rear covered deck and an in-ground swimming pool, and also to construct a 1-story auxiliary building, which is to contain a washroom and also mechanical pool room in the rear yard. We receive surveys, site plan, floor plan elevations, 8 photographs, and also a deferral request from the agent, a decision affecting the property, and also a TLAP or a decision. We have received comment from transportation engineering, a staff report from urban forestry, and received a letter of concern from 66 HILLHOLM and opposition from 60 and 64 HILLHOLM.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online, and we do have speakers in opposition.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Sean Galbraith, planner here for the application.
We are dealing with the deferral request first, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've made some significant changes to the proposed drawings. We've submitted them for a new zoning notice. We just don't have it. We haven't had enough time to receive that updated zoning notice back, and so we'd like a deferral to ensure there's enough time to make sure that all the variances are accurate and correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And we do have some speakers want to speak for on the deferral. Yeah.
And through you, Madam Chair, I will also note that urban forestry was also requesting deferral of this application due to various concerns.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So I guess you will work with urban forestry too if you granted a deferral, right? Yeah. Okay.
Could the registered speakers here in person come up to the podium?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
My name is John Krieger of 64 HILLHOLM Road, which is a neighbor adjacent to the property in question.
Yeah.
I'm here to speak about the notice of objection filed in respect to this
Oh,
application.
no, at the moment,
I understand.
yeah,
In terms
okay,
of the
so-
deferral request, I just want to make some comments in respect of the deferral.
Yeah.
As the committee will see from the Application Center website, this is the third attempt by the homeowner to approve the same variances which were already refused before the committee on February 26th, 2025. The applicant is now seeking a deferral after providing notice to the neighbors and the committee and forcing us to respond to this application a third time. 4 months has gone by, and the owner has taken no steps to address or alleviate any of the concerns of the neighbors. None. The concern that we have is that if a deferral is granted, we're just simply creating a placeholder to come back and deal with this a fourth time. We would be prepared to consent to a deferral but we would want appropriate neighbor consultation before an application is made before the committee, so we understand what exactly is being proposed and providing us sufficient time to respond to the application.
Okay, I can see that, but,
So have you had consultations since the last application was here? Was there been any discussion between your client or you and the applicant?
Yes, there was a meeting that took place between us and the applicant where we expressed our concerns to the applicant, and the applicant wrote back to us after receiving our concerns, advising that they were not considering any of our concerns and were bringing the application before TLAB. After they brought the application before TLAB, it was ultimately withdrawn, and they've now submitted the exact same application before the Committee of Adjustment for approval.
okay. Yeah, but then they, for the last deferral, the reason is to make consultation, which they did though. They did not violate that.
Refusal last time.
Yeah, the refusal, but then they did go out and reach out, right? He said that they had a discussion. Yeah. But that's the reason for the deferral. Whether it was turned down, it was not part of the deferral request. So, but, okay, thank you. Yeah, so any more speakers for the, so do you agree, sorry, my final question is, do you agree with this request now for another deferral? Or?
We would be supportive of another deferral provided that the applicant provides sufficient time and consultation with the neighbors moving forward.
We can put it in our notes, and we can also put a note to the next panel that who can hear it to actually produce some evidence that they have done more consultation, and that's the note that we can put in. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we have one more speaker online.
Peter?
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Peter Voltsinas. Can the committee hear me well?
Yes, very well, yeah.
Thank you. So my name is Peter Voltsinas of Castles, Brock, and Blackwell, LLP. I'm appearing on behalf of Mr. Kerbel, who's one of the owners of 60 HILLHOLM Road, which is the property directly next to the eastern lot line of the subject property. Our client does not expressly object to the applicant's requested deferral. However, I wish to expressly highlight many of the same submissions that my friend just made, particularly in respect of the prejudice associated with and resulting from the applicant's approach to this public process. Specifically, the applicant has resubmitted an entirely identical minor variance application, which this committee has already rejected in its entirety in March of 2025. And this submission ultimately has resulted in the expenditure of frankly needless legal fees, only to reveal that the new submission does not vary in any way from the previous submission that was ultimately rejected. So the deferral, it will result in our client having to review and respond a third time to this application. In the interim, we also note that the applicant has removed most of the existing trees on the property. And ultimately, based on this series of events, should the deferral be granted, it should be of sufficient length to allow for consultation and my client to fully review and assess the new application before we return to the committee and expend additional resources on this matter. In short, submitting a placeholder application to jump the queue and advance timeline should not be condoned nor rewarded. I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee may have regarding these submissions, but those conclude my submissions on the deferral front.
Okay, thank you, yes. So you agree, given if they do what is expected to do, is more consultation, right? Yeah.
Consultation and expressly that the deferral is of sufficient length to allow for that to materialize in good faith, but also to allow for my client to review the materials when they're ultimately submitted, which is obviously at this stage opaque to us and not transparent to us.
Okay, I understand. We can do the best, but yeah.
Through the chair, we can't enforce the level or degree of community consultation as was referenced earlier. One of the reasons for deferral, you can strongly encourage further community consultation with the applicant providing evidence to how they have provided community consultation or not. But we cannot enforce that they do, but they will have to answer as to how they have provided that consultation or not upon the next hearing prior to them being scheduled, for clarity.
And I think that I suggest, I don't know what the panel will agree with me, that we'll put a note for the next panel going to hear this case, that they have to provide evidence that they have done what they promised to do for the deferral. Yeah. Okay, so we finished our speakers, so we are in committee now. Okay, let's have, yes, please.
I don't know if you have to speak to the applicant, but if we could ask the applicant if they agree to further consultation. Sorry, if we could ask the applicant to agree that they will commit to further consultation before they get
Okay,
up
so
the agenda again.
you want to get out and ask
we just
that
go back to
question?
the applicant and get their reaction to these?
Okay, let's get out of the committee and ask this question specifically, that a member of our panel is asking you whether you are committed to do more community consultation. Just yes or no, please. Yeah.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, he promised.
He promised.
Sean,
I know I don't want to belabor this point. We're going to go into committee, but it sounds like you or your client have brought forward the same variances from before, which is obviously an issue. But you also went to TLAB and then stood down from TLAB. Is there an explanation for that?
So all of that is before my time on this file. I wasn't involved in any of that. I'm fairly new on this one.
So they brought you in as a fixer?
A little bit, yeah, and which is why there's going to be some notable changes being made to this project.
All right, I think that might give the applicants a little bit of comfort. Or the opponents a comfort.
And I certainly make it my practice to speak with neighbors.
Yes, and I think as committee, I think we have done our best to make sure that we have listened to your points, both sides. Okay.
All right. If we're in committee, I'll make a motion that we proceed or approve with the deferral request based upon the reasons given, and that we strongly encourage the applicant to have meaningful community consultation in advance from coming back to the committee.
And also, I thought that we are going to put a note saying that for the next hearing, they have to provide some sort of minute of record or record of meetings that they have done the consultation.
Sure.
For the next panel. Okay. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, you got all these notes, and then I think that it is more like a tight to make them honor the reasons. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So all in Larry, you who put the motion for? Oh, sorry, Paul Gogan. Who second? Yeah.
Gary.
Larry. Gary. Okay. Okay. All in favor for the deferral with those reasons. Yeah. Unanimous approve for the deferral with those reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we go back to our normal agenda. The first item is number 20, Indian.
Can we do 20 and 21 together?
Oh, yes, right. I think they're in tandem. That we are going to hear 20 and 21, 160 Indian Grove. And for 160 Indian Grove is to construct a one-story auxiliary building, including a basement area, to contain laneway suite. And in the rear yard, there will be an exterior staircase along a portion of the north side lot line, and 2 bicycle parking spaces at the south limit of the site. We have received minute of last hearing, and also a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevation, and a revised site plan, floor plan, elevation, and presentation material from the agent and the TTC undertaking from the applicant. We receive email corresponding from the agent and with community planning, and we have comment from the community planning and a TTC commission, a TTC, sorry. And then on number 21, 158 Indian Grove, we receive, this is to construct a new two-story auxiliary building containing a laneway suite. In the rear yard, there will be a total of 5 residential dwelling units on this lot and 4 units within the main building and 1 unit in the auxiliary building. We have received a minute of the last public hearing and a copy of survey site plan, floor plan elevations, and revised site plan, floor plan elevations. We received material, presentation material from the agent and a TTC undertaking by the owner, by the applicant, sorry, and then an email correspondence from TTC. And also we have received comment from TTC and also Urban Forestry.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here in person. No registered speakers for this item. I would like to clarify for the record to amend the purpose to add in the total number of dwelling units for the lot. So I believe for item 20, there will be a total of 4 dwelling units on the lot, 3 units in the main dwelling, and 1 unit proposed in the laneway suite. And to the agent, that's correct?
Correct.
Okay, and through you, Madam Chair, for item 21 for 158 Indian Grove, similarly, we will amend the purpose to add in the total number of dwelling units on the lot. There will be a total of 5 dwelling units on the lot, 4 units in the main dwelling, and 1 unit proposed in the laneway suite.
So that's correct, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers other than the applicant?
No.
Okay, so so tell us give it your name and address, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Maggie Low. I'm the owner of address 95 Murray Street, Richmond Hill. I'm the owner of 158 Indian Grove and also the agent for my neighbor 160 Indian Grove.
Okay, thank you. Since you do not have any oppositions here, I see whether the panel, we have read all the materials submitted, so see whether they require a presentation.
I wouldn't mind a quick overview,
Okay, quick overview because it's
two combined.
Yeah, and yeah, okay. Can you give us, since you're speaking, maybe you limit to just 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure, I can do, maybe a couple minutes. I have a short presentation material that I submitted. I see it's pulled up on the screen already. So, we are proposing a 2 semi-detached laneway suite project in between 2 adjacent lots. Second page, yes. So a little bit of background. We have just like the material shows. We have total 4 units after the laneway suite for address 160 Indian and 5 units for 158 Indian Grove. Next page. So here's a picture of the backyard of 2 lots. So we have a very unique piece of a lot because the whole backyard is sloped. So if you're looking in the backyard, the laneway house is a 3-story building, including a walkout basement. If you're looking in the laneway, it's normal 2-story building.
So slope up to the...
It's a slope up. It's a basically 1-story difference. So the calculation of the building height is 4 corners of the building, which brings down our average grade. So eventually, if you're standing on the laneway, what you see is a normal 2-story laneway house and not more than 6.3 meter for 158 Indian Grove. And for 160 Indian Grove, my neighbor is only proposing 1-story building, so the building height is less than 4 meters if you're standing in the laneway to view the property. I have next page, please. So this couple graphic address the angle of plan issue. If we're looking at the main building, there is a ground floor addition at the back of the main building, which basically is the same level of the laneway suite walkout basement level. So due to the calculations of the spatial separation that we have to calculate from the ground floor addition, so the distance right now is a 5.19 meter versus the 7.5 meter that's required. But if you're looking at the ground floor of the laneway suite, it's what we propose is exactly 7.5 meter from the main building, just due to the slope of this grading that the overall building height is higher because of the average grade. Next page. So here are a few pictures of our neighborhoods. The first picture, it's the cross our laneway. So these are the red brick buildings. They are four story above grade, including a ground floor garage. So they are taller than our proposed laneway house. The first two pictures on the left-hand side, so these are just across our site. They're facing the Keele Street, so we're sharing the laneway at the back. And on the right-hand side, that's the view of just a few houses down the laneway of our site. So we do have neighbors that they built already exactly what we're proposing. So this is actually basically the same height of what we're proposing. It's a two-story building from the laneway grade. Next slide, please. So this is the quick view of the site location. We are very, very close to the subway station. So if you walk towards west and then you get to Keele Street within 50 meters, the subway station is there. The entrance of the TTC bus terminal is right there. If you walk through the main front door of the building, so we are 100 meters from Bloor Street. So the design of this laneway street is in line with the city's 15-minute city concept. So everything is walkable distance within 15 minutes. There is also, it's a little outside the map, there is another food store. There is no fuels stores on the east side of the Bloor. Parks, shoppers, there are tons of restaurants on the Bloor Street. So we trust our development of the two laneway suites is adding the sustainable living to the living space to the neighborhoods. Next slides. And then here are a few development merits. I have to see my notes, it's a little too small on the screen. So the first is, So sustainable urban living. So we will design our laneway suite all electric. There's no gas feeding the laneway suite. So we want to reduce the carbon footprint. The design is more than 40% energy efficiency and then greenhouse gas reduction over national building code. Second, improves urban density of the city. So keeping it compact and efficient to the existing neighborhoods and a foster community and a social interaction.
Thank you. Yes. You packed two into one. Thank you very much. Any question to the applicant? And then presentation is good. Larry, you want?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So no questions? Okay. So we are in committee now. They don't have any questions.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. I will point out that the TTC had submitted clearance letters to the agent based on a set of plans, and they listed the plans. Staff, yes, thank you for pulling. No, if you can pull up the clearance letter that that the agent submitted from the TTC.
Yeah, it is an email.
Just to the agent, sorry if we can come, if we're out of committee, to clarify this point to the agent. It looks like the plans that the TTC listed are different or have different dates than the plans that are before the committee.
Yes. I would like to point it out that there are changes we made to the plans. Actually, we reduced stairs. We used to propose a metal stairs at the back elevation of the laneway suite, but after review the zoning notice, it's actually one of the variants. It's a little too close to the main building, so we're willing to work with the current zoning bylaw requirements. So we removed the rear stairs of the laneway suite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
you improve it, actually.
I'm improving. Yeah, we try our best to comply.
Okay.
Through you, Madam Chair, so I'll just raise for members to consider that the TTC clearance letter speaks to those set of plans that they reviewed, which is different. Mm-hmm. So for the members, when you're considering, you can, out of caution, if you would like, impose the TTC conditions. knowing that these are not the same plans that the TTC had seen. So out of abundance of caution, you may want to impose those conditions or not, but just recognize for the record that they are different plans, and the TTC did clearly state in their comments that it was based on that set of plans, which is different.
Yeah, maybe they will, better for them down the road to submit a revised set of plans, which is an improvement anyway.
Yeah, we will submit the drawings with the
Yeah.
stairs that's removed.
Yes, yeah, that's what I.
Through the chair to the agent, are you amenable to include the TTC conditions out of caution then?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so now we can be in committee now, right? Okay. Anyone wants to, I can see Philip's hand.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask her how the TTC was to work with, like, you don't have any concerns with.
No concern at all, actually. It's been a pleasure to work with him. We work with Trevor Lee, and then he's always very fast in responding to emails, very cooperative, answer all the questions, and he's very clear in terms of what the TTC's requirements are. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, well, that's really kind. I hope that they were watching. Yeah, no, I was.
They
just
are
trying
very
to
supportive,
see if,
honestly.
They don't always
putting those
get good
conditions
feedback.
back on would be a hardship, but it sounds like
No,
not at
they're
all.
very, very nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so.
Hey, Chair, I'm happy to take this
Very-
one. First of all, thank you for bringing them both back at the same time. I think that makes sense. That's easier for the panel
Yes.
to consider when they're obviously detached or semi-detached, that we consider them together so we can look at the entire impact. So that's great. Thank you for that.
And you can eliminate one opposition at least, right?
Yeah, well, and this is, as you point out, I was looking to see whether this was one of the closest residences to the Kiel subway, but there is a house on the other side, on the south side, which I was surprised to know. You're pretty darn close to being the very closest to the Kiel subway station. So it is a site that is worthy of additional density, and so I think this is an eminently supportable application. Your point about the grade changes is a good one. If you look at it from the rear, there's really very minimal impact, and again, given its proximity to some commercial activity in the Kiel subway, there's no impact at all. So I'm happy. We want two separate motions, so because they're slightly different variances.
Yes.
So I'll move for item number 20, 160 Indian Grove Avenue. I'll move approval of that one. Is that the TTC condition? With the TTC condition?
Both, I think, yeah.
Amended
We
purpose.
submitted one application covers two lots.
So I'll move approval of that one.
Okay, Mr. Gauguin, second, Mr. Gauguin, yeah. And all in favor for that one with TTC condition. All unanimous approved for the first, number 20.
Okay,
And,
number 21, 158 Indian Grove. I'll move approval of this application, subject to, it's amended similarly, subject to forestry condition number 2 and the TTC condition for this. Amended,
Yes.
amended purpose.
And all in favor? Oh, so second, sorry, Mr. McKay second this time, right? He had his, yeah. Okay, all in favor? Unanimously approved for both. Thank you very much for
Thank you very
coming.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we move to item number 23, 545 to 601 Sherbourne Street, and also 3 to 7 Howard Street. This is, the purpose for this application is to facilitate the development of the site for a 51-story mixed-use building, including the parkland dedicated requirement. The application is necessitated to modify section 4, 7, 16, and 24 under Appendix A, site-specific zoning bylaw 1528 and 2019. And section 4, 7, 15, and 23 under Schedule A, site-specific zoning bylaw 1529, 2019, which relates to the timing of conveyance and the lease of the parkland and the construction for parking improvement. For this item, we have received survey site plans, floor plans, and elevation, cover letter from the agent, and also decision affecting the subject property. Arborist report from the agent, and also a council member's motion of the property and the site-specific zoning bylaw for this site. And we have received communications from community planning and also staff report from Park and Recreation Department. And we have received a letter of interest from 21 Howard Street. Yeah. And that's it we have.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and we have a speaker registered in interest online.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jessica Smeskowitz. I'm a lawyer with Adam Brown's office. Mr. Brown was supposed to be here this afternoon to speak, but unfortunately he was called to a family emergency, so I've stepped in his place.
Yes, okay, thank you. It seems that you have at least a person with concern want to speak, so you better give us a 5-minute presentation on this. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
If you could just flip to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the site was subject of a rezoning application that was approved in 2019 for a 51-story purpose-built rental building on the site. As part of the approval, our clients required to convey 607 square meters of parkland to the city. That's the area that you see in green on the slide, as well as to extend the lease. Our client owns the lands in orange, and there's a lease in favor of the city for parkland on the site. As part of the approval of the rezoning, our client's required to extend that lease over the orange piece for an additional 124 years. The Section 37 agreement and the schedule to the site-specific zoning bylaws required that the green portion of the park be conveyed to the city prior to the issuance of the first above-grade permit. The city requires that the lands, in order to accept the conveyance, be free and clear, and any environmental remediation that's required. Through the environmental investigation, our client's engineers discovered that some of the soils were contaminated on the site. It wasn't possible for our client to remediate fully the lands because if you can flip to slide 3, please. The one following this, please. There are 6 trees at the top left corner of the site that the city is requiring our client to protect. So rather than remediating fully the site, the city requested that our client do a partial remediation and risk assessment through the Ministry of Environment. That risk assessment process takes 1 to 2 years to complete, and our client is almost ready to pull its above-grade permit. So through consultation with city park staff and the councilor's office, we came up with a resolution where our client could convey the park to the city the earlier of 2 years from the issuance of the first above-grade permit or occupancy of the building. And the base park and above base park improvements to that parkland would be completed in the same time frame, whereas the Section 37 agreement and the zoning bylaw required those improvements to be done within a year of the first above-grade permit. There was a motion by the local councillor that was passed by City Council at its May meeting to direct the revision to the Section 37 agreement to revise this timing as well. But the reason for the variances is because the timing for the parkland dedication and the base park and above base park improvements is in the schedule to the 2 site-specific zoning bylaws for the site. We have reviewed the comments from park staff, and our client is satisfied with them and has no issue with them whatsoever. We also, Mr. Brown spoke to the resident that submitted the letter of concern. The majority of the comments in the letter are unrelated to the variances that are being proposed here. They related to the timing of construction and a request for a walkway, which is really on the city, the orange area that you saw on the previous slide, which is under the city's control. But Mr. Brown did want to make sure to speak to that resident about the issues of soil contamination and explain the risk assessment process that we have to go through the ministry to make sure that the lands are in an acceptable condition for the city to accept them as parkland. And also there was a request, I believe, for a contact at our client's office through the construction process, and our client has agreed to provide a contact throughout the duration of construction for the building. We respectfully submit that the variances meet the 4 tests that one must have regard to under Section 45 of the Planning Act, and that they're minor. This is a technical revision to the schedule, to the bylaw. No changes to the bill form of the building whatsoever. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a really good explanation, actually. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Just wait, see if they have. Those variances are very long. Mainly, it's actually the only request for the variance because of time, not enough time for you to do all that stuff, right? Is it?
Correct, to do the environmental remediation, the risk assessment through the Ministry of Environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is this project still going through the site plan approval, or what stage of the project it is now? Yeah.
It's well under construction. I believe they're almost completed their below grade construction, and they're going to be in a position to pull the above grade permit within the next few months.
I see. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
There's a speaker.
Oh, there's another speaker. Okay, sorry. Okay, pardon me. Let's listen to the next speaker. Yeah.
Hello, Madam Chair.
Yes.
My name is Thomas Walsh, and I'm a resident at 21 Howard Street, 407 Bleecker Street. It's the southeast corner, and across from the development, 601 Sherbourne. Kitty corner to the two 50-plus story developments, the concert development, which is at the northwest corner, and the Medallion development, which is at the southwest. We first came into knowledge of these projects in 2019, and since then, 6 years have transpired. The two developments, we met with them at City Hall in 2020, and they both indicated at the time that they were going to begin once they got their approval, construction. The concert development is now almost finished. It's up close to the 50th floor. And the Medallion project is a big hole in the ground that is almost reaching ground level. For about 2 years, that project sat abandoned, a big hole. The park was demolished, some 40 trees were taken out. And as you know, St. Jamestown West is one of the most highly densely populated areas in Canada. Just the same, I'm not here to oppose the project, but I am here to express some concerns that we, the residents, have. My wife is 78, I'm 75, and we've been putting up with or suffering might be a better word, with the noise and the different violations of local bylaws, having trucks parked outside our, a meter away, big cement trucks rattling away, 5 in the morning onwards, having a mafia move into your neighborhood. The streets are no longer your own. They can stop traffic whenever they want, they take over the sidewalks. They make the noise that they want, and a number of other issues, even threats when you ask them to turn off their trucks to stop idling. So I know you're in City Hall and you have your perspectives, but those of us who live in the area, perspectives that are shaped by our experiences with these developments. So my concern is why I'm expressing it. If you just hold that sign there, that slide, is that beside me are two 20-story plus buildings of public housing. And as you well know, many of these people, vulnerable as they are, suffer from everything from blindness, large use of wheelchairs, and walkers, and just not quick to get about. When they closed the park, these people, my neighbors, were forced to walk northwards to Howard Street, and then westwards to Sherbourne, and then southwards down to the stores, the Tims, the Freshcos, the hairdressers, and all the shops that are there. Whereas previously, there was a pathway from Bleecker Street, where you see that blue sort of shaded or marked area on the right, that ran parallel to the Shoppers Drug Mart. That area, I believe, the project is going to go forward and it's going to be delayed further, it can be rehabilitated. The lawyer, Adam Brown, Jessica's colleague, said that that belongs to the city. Well, we have these ongoing issues. The same thing with the parquet. It's not clear who's actually responsible for maintaining the parquet. The city at times refers to the development as being responsible, and the development refers to that the city is responsible. The end result is no one. It's an abandoned area. We have people that are sleeping there, shooting up. It's in the dumping spot. And I've had numerous pictures, and I've sent things to the council members. I get some response, but then shortly after, it returns to be the same situation.
Yes.
So I could go on, but my time's running out. The main concern is that there are some conditions, some accountability, and some enforcement for the residents, for those of us who live there, and that these are incorporated in any approval. And the final thing is, we didn't know about any contamination. We're living there for decades, and told through this medium that some of the area right beside us is contaminated.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the applicant can address some of the concerns. I think this application is all about the conveyance of the land for the apartment. Yeah, so let's bring back the agent, or the applicant, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I'll address the comments in order. So in terms of the time of the length of and duration of construction, our client Medallion would have loved to move as quickly as possible, given that this is a purpose-built rental building, an important project for them. Construction is complicated, especially when you're dealing with rental, tree preservation, environmental remediation, et cetera. And all I can say is, they're well into construction now and moving as quickly as they can. In terms of the disruption to neighbors during construction, again, not related to the variances that are before the committee today, but in any event, Mr. Brown, when he spoke to Mr. Walsh, confirmed, and our client confirmed again to me, that they're happy to have a contact person that the residents can call during construction if there's any issues in that regard. In terms of the walkway that was previously there and requested, again, not related to the variances before the committee. It is on a city park that Medallion doesn't have control over. But again, our client's construction contact is happy to deal with any of the issues in terms of noise, dust, all the issues that the resident voiced here today. Thank you.
Yes. Any question to yeah. So can I ask you a question about the parklet? When after the conveyance, who's going to reconstruct that part? You or the city?
The park? Our client is responsible for the base park and above base park improvements on the site, but the park is going to be conveyed to the city.
Yes, I understand that part, but then you also committed to the reconstructing of the parkland, right?
Yes, the base park and above base park improvements will be done by our client on both the green conveyed land and the leased land to the city.
So that is part of the conveyance conditions that you have, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes, please, Mr. McKay. Yeah.
Just very briefly, I'm just wondering about the prior land use that caused the environmental situation. Would have been something like a gas station, something along those lines?
I'm not aware, unfortunately, of what the prior use was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And any other questions? Okay, we do not have any more questions. Now we are in committee. Yeah. Yeah, I can really hear the concerned citizens about the disturbance. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I thank the applicant for the update. We know these are complex projects especially in relationship to land ownership and maintenance with the City of Toronto, so we appreciate the update. The variances are, although complex, are minor in nature with regard to kind of maintaining the ongoing issues related to the development of this purpose-built rental. So I propose that we approve this application.
There's parks conditions.
Oh, parks condition.
Yes.
It's in the late materials, but.
In the supplementary, yeah.
Yeah.
The condition imposed, suggested by Park and Recreation,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
That's right.
It seems to be pretty important that it's all sort of thought through.
Okay. So that's the motion. Anyone want to second that motion? Mr. Goss, second. All in favor of the conditions? Yeah, thank you. All unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah, unanimously approved. Thank you very much. It's approved. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now we move to item number 24, 113 BELLWOODS Avenue. This is to permit the front basement walkout of the existing two-story townhouse dwelling, which is currently under construction under a building permit. The existing rear one-story auxiliary building detached garage will be demolished. We have received a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, a revised site plan, and also 6 photographs of trees of the on the property and corresponding from the agent. We also receive comment from community planning. Yeah. And
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item.
no. Okay.
Human, you've been unmuted.
Yes. Hi, my name is Human Riahi from Unit 103 at 200 Consumers Road, North York.
And it seems to be a very straightforward application, so I'm going to, and you do not have any opposition, see whether we require a presentation. No? Any questions? Yes, we do not need a presentation, but we have some questions. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I just want to know if you've seen the proposed planning condition that you plant a tree, and if you have any concerns with that.
No concerns. We revised the drawings and the location, and the staff are satisfied.
Okay, great.
Okay. So we can put that condition on anyway. Yes.
Through you to the Secretary Treasurer, since it's proposed by planning, it's a planning condition. We should leave it as a planning condition, not as a forestry condition.
Through the chair, correct, it is to the satisfaction in this case of community planning, but you could also tie this application to the site plan, which shows the tree, or you could simply just impose the planning condition.
Okay, yeah.
It's up to, just bring a motion.
Yeah, sure.
So how it sounds. Yeah.
I'll bring a motion. It's a very straightforward application. And I would just make it a planning condition since they're the ones that raised it to their satisfaction. So
yes.
I would move to approve this straightforward application subject to the planning condition.
Because they have to comply with urban forestry. They will have a second, they will review it, urban forestry anyway, going through building permit process, they will have to comply.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, Philip has a motion. Mr. McKay want to second? Yeah. Okay, with that condition, all in favor? I see, approved unanimously. Thank you very much. So we come to item number 25, 48 Davies Crescent. This is to construct a new two-story detached dwelling with a front indigo garage with a basement walkout, a covered front porch with stairs, and a rear first level deck and staircase, and a rear second level bay window. We have received survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 3 photographs of the of trees on the property, cover letter from the agent, and also an arborist report. We have received comments from Urban Forestry, Metrolink, TRCA, and also from the within natural feature protection. We have a letter of concern from 46 Davies Crescent, and also oppositions we have received from 38, 50, 36, and 40 and 44 Davies Crescent, and we have 16 signature petition in opposition, also signed by occupants or owners of Daviesville, Davies Crescent. Yeah. Welcome. We have the agent in person.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. My name is Trevor Gain. I'm the agent applicant here on behalf of the owner.
So you have give us your address too, yeah?
I reside at 10 Celebrity Place in Markham.
Okay. So
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have registered speakers for this item.
okay. So you do have some opposition who want to speak. So you can give us a brief presentation for 5 minutes. Yeah.
No problem. So as you mentioned, this is essentially an additions and renovations project, but due to substantial demolition, it became a new house. So we decided to keep it as a renovation simply because this is the street where you have side yard setbacks of 30 centimeters on one, 60 centimeters on another, and that repeats itself all the way down. So given that proximity, it just made sense to keep these two existing sidewalls. So we have to reapprove those two side yard variances instead of the 1.2 meters. They're 29 and 60 something. And that was really just because of the proximity. So if we take those walls down, dig them out, remove them, there is a greater chance of imposing onto the neighbor's side. Especially on the west side, we have the neighbor's garage, which probably just has minimal footings underneath it, 4 feet. If we want anything deeper than a 6'8" basement in our house, we would have to underpin, which we would be well into the angle of repose on the neighbors on both sides. So what we did is we kept the two side walls, and once we sort of passed the existing dwelling, we stepped them in. We spoke to the neighbor on the west side. He had no problem. We were originally going to continue the back as a renovation. He asked us to push it back, so we pushed it in another 12 inches, so we're asking for 0.6 in the new addition behind. And then because the neighbor on the east side, his entire west wall rather, is within 12 centimeters or 12 inches of the property line, we pushed that one in an additional 0.2, so we'd have like 0.9 meters side yard setback once we pass that existing garage, and that keeps us out of the angle of repose. So over and all, the variances in front of you, we have 7 variances, fairly typical of what you've seen in the past of any sort of house. Lots of examples up and down the street all over the area of houses under construction, new houses, renovated houses. So we believe what we're proposing here is pretty much in keeping with the neighborhood.
Quick question. Trevor, a lot of opposition on this little crescent. Did you or your client have any discussions with the neighbors?
Yeah, the owner is right here. He tried to reach out to the neighbor. At the very beginning, like I mentioned, we spoke to number 46, and I think he's here, so he can deny or agree with that. And that's why we pushed in the addition at the back. And then at one point, he did reach out to the neighbors, and then that's when we realized we had all this opposition, so it was kind of a surprise to us. We did pull the history up and down this street, and it's the same players. So if you went through the history of all the other committee of adjustment, mainly the long-term residents that live in the bungalows that you see, they're opposing a lot of it. So in one way, it wasn't a big surprise to us because it's a change, and here we are. So.
Okay, thank you. Since some of them are going to speak, and we can, listen. You can hear them first, right? And we come back to you. So let's have the first speaker.
Through the chair, if you're here in person to speak to this item, please come up to the podium.
Hey, yeah. Welcome. tell us your name and address, and if you want to have something to pull up on the screen, that we do that before we start the clock, okay? Yeah,
Sorry for being a little nervous here.
yeah, no, it's fine.
So if we could bring up,
Give us your name and address.
oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Mark Ferrand, and I have my wife here, Michelle Kalsbeek, as an observer. And we lived at 50 Davies Crescent. We've been there for 32 years. And we now have 2 children living with us in their mid-20s. And we plan on being there for another 30 years. We also did a top-up in 2001. We put a second story, but we didn't apply for any variations or variances at all. Okay?
Yeah.
So I have this presentation that I'm going to go through, but while we do this, can we bring up our presentation?
Bring up the material first before we start the clock. Yeah, bring up the material he needs first. What do you like to bring up?
It's a letter dated June the 3rd, and it's addressed to the Committee of Adjustments. There is an echo. Test. Is that better?
Is this
Is that
the
better?
letter?
No, I don't think so. It sounds like it's on. Hello? Okay, yeah. Page number 7, or page number 6. That's it, right there.
Okay.
Freeze it right there. Okay. So as a builder just described, I guess, are we going to start the clock?
Yes, we can start now. You're ready, right? Let's start. Yeah.
I think I'm ready. I think
Okay,
I'm
it's fine.
organized.
Okay.
Okay. So as the builder identified, there is a number of oppositions on the street, mainly because there's the request for 7 variances. And quite frankly, as we speak to the residents, it's really the totality of all the variances requested, and it's building this monster house. And that's really the concern that the group has. And we're trying to, we've been there, I've been there for 32, my neighbor's been there for 20, there's been a lot of long-term residents that have been living there. And we're just trying to keep the homes in a modest proportion. So as you look at this little sketch that I made, this is typically variance number 5. It's like the minimum required side yard setback of 0.9 meters. And the new dwelling that's currently there, that garage, is actually 0.68 from the side, the east side of the lot line. It is proposed that the side yard setback on the east line to 48 Davies Crescent be 0.68 from the portion of the build where the existing garage will be retained to 0.9. Now, as I look at that 0.9, the builder had mentioned some dimensions. The actual property line is 3 inches away from my chimney stack. And the main concern that we have with the setback on both sides is that we have, our entire properties are all sand. And the sand gives way. And we've had several instances where garages have fallen, and other structures have had damage to walls. And our house is built in 1943. And if you look at the basement floor, there are places on the basement floor where I've seen either 1.5 to 3 inches. So it's very thin stuff. And like I said, the walls, it was built in 1943. So we're really concerned about the setback. Jerry's going to speak about his property. I'm on 50, and he's on 46 Davies Crescent, so I'll let him speak to that. If I can have you go to, yeah, let's stick with this picture for a second. Let's stick with this same picture, no, the one that you had before, number 6, slide number 6. Okay, so slide number 6, the reason why I have 7.5 inches there, that's the distance, that's a vertical measurement between two objects, my eave trough and the eave trough on 48 Davies Crescent. And my biggest concern with that side of my house is to perform all the services. And I've got cement board that's going to need painting, that's going to need caulking, that's going to need services. I've got my water, my gas, everything on that side of the house. And by the time that the builder finishes with the construction, I know they're going to remove the eave trough, but then they're also going to add to that. The biggest concern with this property is that they're considering it a new build. So our suggestions, our requirements is just keep the big wall to create a bigger perimeter house. No. If it's a new structure, adhere to the new requirements. Build a structure that's 1.2 meters away from the property line. Not to leave it there and just build this big, massive house that's using quite a bit of property. Like, for instance, the coverage, the allowed coverage for this plan, it represents an 11.19 increase from what the bylaw allows and a 49.99% increase from the coverage of the current structure. You know, some other stats, the variation number 4, we're looking at the floor space of this house is a 30.2% increase in floor space from what is permitted by the bylaw, which is quite excessive and does not appear minor in any way. So compared to the existing floor space, this represents a 252.38% increase. Oh, my time's up. I'm so
your
sorry.
time's up. So do you have a very quick summation you want to make?
Our summation is that we're finding the house too damn big.
It's oversized.
Yeah, it's too big, and our concern is the ground. Once you start digging 3 inches away from my chimney,
okay,
will my wall hold up?
Understand. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Let's wait. Do we have any questions to this? Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let's.
Okay, through the chair, we have another speaker here in person. Can please come up to the podium.
Good afternoon, and thank you. My name is Jerry McNeely. I live at 46 Davies Crescent, Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do have a few comments.
Let's not start the clock until maybe if he wants us to bring up any material first. Yeah. Do you want something brought up on the screen?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay, we can start then. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I just have some comments to make. I appreciate the opportunity to express my concerns to this committee today. And as I indicated, I reside at 46 Davies Crescent, next to the subject property. I have provided written submissions in June, on June 4th, 2025 to this committee. At the outset, let me state clearly that while I'm not opposed to single-dwelling homes being renovated or rebuilt, because that's just the reality we live in with Toronto. We have a vacancy rate issue, and so I commend the city for that. But this new bill does not do anything to help that vacancy, in my opinion. It's a single-family dwelling. It will go to a single-family dwelling, as I understand it. So I wanted to put that on the record. I also wanted to indicate that I adopt and support the submissions of my neighbors that Mark and Michelle made. They live at 50 Davies Crescent, so I don't need to go over their submissions. Secondly, I'm very concerned about the structural integrity of our homes and the existing walls, and what, if any, if there will be any damage from the excavation for this new construction. Given the proximity to our homes that were built in the 1940s, my neighbor indicated 1943. My concerns stem from negative experience of other neighbors on Davies Crescent, whose properties were in fact structurally damaged and affected from the excavation that were carried out in renovated or new builds next to their properties. And let me give you an example. There was a new build at 35 Davies Crescent, which is directly across from my property a couple of years ago. During that excavation, the next door property at 37 to the left of the property, Davies Crescent, was structurally damaged and affected in that the garage and other existing walls started to collapse, develop cracks and shifting, and ultimately had to be replaced or repaired. And it took the gentleman in that house, who was 83 years old at the time, had 2 weeks of sleepless nights while he felt his house moving. He finally came and spoke to me because he didn't know what else to do. I was able to contact the inspector from the city, who did come and looked at the place and put a stop work order and ordered that it be fixed. I'm trying to avoid that happening to my home or to my neighbor's home. Additionally, in my view, the request to exceed current building restrictions will pose great health and safety concerns and issues for both normal and emergency access, and given the tight spaces that exist between the houses right now. If there was an emergency, it would be very difficult to get down some of these access routes. Additionally, if the new addition is, I'm concerned about the new addition in the backyard, the setback that exceeds the current zoning bylaws. It's close to the property line. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned later on how that might affect me personally if I were to try to sell my property. I also share the concerns of my neighbors about the height and the size of the proposed new build. The variances as requested in these two areas will present both property concerns as well as privacy concerns, and I know privacy concerns are neither here nor there. Some of these concerns are directly related to the fact that it is not clear to me on the drawings planned received, I'm not an expert in that area, exactly what is meant by existing property at 48 Davies Crescent is a new build, will be substantially demolished, and the walls will be substantially demolished. I'm not clear what those things mean. They seem to be very different, new build or substantially demolished. It is hard to determine what substantially demolished means, and some clarification would be helpful. Also, the cumulative impact of the needs to be considered in regards to the size of the property that's being proposed. Look, I indicated I support building. I understand it. It's happened on the street and other streets, and I'm not opposed to that. But what I'm opposed to is the question of why does it need to be so big? Why? It's in an existing property. It could maintain the integrity of that property. It can go as high as it wants with limits as long as it abides by the criteria and the bylaws and guidelines that the city has imposed. And I would like the city to follow those guidelines and apply them in this particular case. I'm requesting this committee not approve the requested variances in order that the current bylaws and guidelines be applicable to this new build, specifically in the areas of concerns that I have expressed and my neighbors have expressed.
Thank you.
I thank you for the opportunity to address you and share my concerns, and I hope that it meets with your satisfaction and a clear indication of my views on the request for variances on this new build or substantially demolished build at 48 Davies Crescent. I reiterate, I'm not opposed to this new bill, but I have indicated my concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wait, see whether we have questions for you. Yes, please. Yeah.
The agent for the applicant mentioned that either the applicant or he had had some conversations with you. I would just like to ask you if that is the case and how those went.
Yes, Tom approached me over a year ago while I was in my driveway and indicated he had a drawing, nothing like the drawings we have here, just a schematic of the lot size, indicating that he wanted to build on this property, and he wanted to come as close to the property line as possible. I told him that concerned me. I told him, Tom, I am not a person who looks for arguments or oppose anything. I will agree with you, but why is it necessary if you're going to sell the house to try to encroach on the property line, and why not just go in? He has indicated they've gone in. I looked at the drawings. I am not an expert in this. It didn't look like it moved as much as I anticipated it should.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any more question to this? Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah. We will have the agent, do we have more speakers? Yes. Okay, we have the agent come back to address your concerns.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'll start off that the house is not for sale. The owner is going to live in it. His parents live across the street, which is the main premise for purchasing this property and continuing to build it so he could be close to his aging parents. Furthermore, all the comments about the house collapsing in the soil and stuff is 100% correct, which is why I mentioned we are not taking down the two side walls. So the definition of substantial demolition is that you have to maintain 50% of the exterior walls, and that maintains renovation status. Since we're taking off the whole back of the house to do a two-story rear addition, build behind the garage, that was a significant reduction. And then furthermore, we're changing the front look of the house, and that was what put us over 50%, so that's why we're substantially demolished. The comments about the side yard setback, we have no opposition for the owners fixing their property. There's also a right of entry that City of Toronto does allow that, so you get a neighbor that opposes it. However, in this particular case, that wall is staying there, so whatever he can access that second floor to repair his Tudor siding, his eaves trough, that will be maintained. If anything, it'll be better since we don't have the eaves trough of that existing garage protruding. So whatever's there now, it'll just continue. And as I mentioned, we're just keeping that wall, so any demolition that'll happen, excavation rather, will happen beyond those existing walls. On the west side, you can see the house at number 46 kind of fans away a little bit. So I don't anticipate that there'd be any damage at all to those existing walls, given that there's probably over 3 meters or something there. I can't read the setback from here. And then on the other side, that's a little bit tighter, so some simple shoring or whatever that required during the building permit process, if required, we'll handle that. So furthermore, the tight side yard setbacks, this whole street has tight setbacks, and the committee has approved a whole bunch of them. Can I get my covering letter up on screen? So if you keep scrolling through, next page. One more. These are the minor variances. So when we went through the area, the minor variances that we're saying, whether this is a monster house. So for example, coverage we're asking for 41%. That works out to be about 21 square meters, 235 square feet, the size of a single car garage. That's how much above we're going beyond the allowable limit. Floor space index, it's 1,000 square foot, a 900 square foot bungalow. You put a second floor on it, you're at your maximum. And the owner's just looking for a house for his family, 4 bedrooms, typical house. The height, we're asking for a height variance of about 80 centimeters, 4 centimeters higher than the desk you're sitting at. Again, not excessive amount. We have no building length variances. We have some soft landscaping variances in the front that are relating to basically the front porch and garage. We have no problem with permeable pavers, kind of a standard condition of approval if you want that. And any sort of privacy and overlook in the site plan, the house is far enough back. And as I mentioned, we have no building length, so the house is there. Any new house that happens up and down the street has a similar variance. Let's kind of go to the next couple pages. In the submitted photographs I have, I just wanted to kind of give you a snapshot of what's happening up and down the street. So this is an area under transition. You see multiple examples of the existing bungalows, and then beside it, tight setbacks. If they do a renovation, you can go up on those existing setbacks with no variances. Keep going, please, to the photographs. So you can see there's bungalows and new houses and two-story houses. Continue along to next photographs. Next page. So photograph E and F, these are the backyard shots. So when you look east and west, you can see the backyard or the back walls of the newer developed. It's just natural that at 17 meters, that any house is going to be longer than those existing bungalows. And again, no building length, so they're in their as of right location. Keep going, next photos, please, next page. So just more and more examples. This is the number 35 right across the street that the one neighbor was mentioning, right? Brand new house, house raised on top with a garage. We continue along the street, you see a mix of two-story houses. You see in photograph I, you have a sloping roof houses, modern roof houses, bungalows next to it. It's part of the streetscape. So all we're proposing is just going to fit into that amount. So to kind of wrap it up, I'll just conclude that TRC has no issue with this. Urban Forestry, we've already circulated, they're fine. We have no staff comments from city planning. So that just basically tells us with all the examples of the variances that are kind of happening, this is all north of O'Connor, that example, forget what's happening south of O'Connor. We think we're pretty much in keeping with the general trend in the area.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you make it. Any question to the applicant? Yes, please, go ahead, yeah.
The addition, not the existing building, but the addition, are the additions compliant with the setbacks? I noticed they step back away from the existing.
The east side is compliant, and the west side is 12 inches into it, so 30 centimeters in, plus or minus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I just understand? So the east wall is basically staying the same, right? So you're not changing the east wall.
The east wall, yeah. If you're looking at the house on the right, that wall stays the same.
Right,
We're just going up on it.
Right.
And the west wall?
On the west side, are you keeping the existing wall?
Yeah, foundation all the way to the top of the existing masonry.
So the very narrow setback on the west side is an existing condition?
That's correct.
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
Both sides.
I didn't know, I wasn't sure if it was both sides. I was listening to the opposition and I was concerned that I didn't understand it properly.
But the additions, it seems that one side is more, a pullback more, the other side is still a division, right? The new part of it, yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay. I know that it's outside our mandate about construction process, and it seems that, but it seems to be a concern of the neighbors, and I just trust that if this is going ahead, maybe just make it easy for them.
I think that's pretty standard. I know the contractor for a long time. Nobody wants lawsuits, so usually, including the City of Toronto, so everything will be done at a stage to minimize difficulty.
Impact, yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, now we're in committee. There's no more questions, we're in committee now. Okay, yeah.
Well, that's some comments.
Yes, please, yeah.
So first of all, thank you to the neighbors for coming. The beauty of looking at things in plan and in survey is you realize that every property is unique in its relationship to the property lines. A lot of existing buildings are actually non-conforming uses by right because the world isn't perfect. The houses aren't centered and whatnot. And I noticed that, like, for example, 50 is very, very close to its west property line. And those are just the nature of these things. As the chair mentioned, the issues around construction this committee doesn't address. But it's good that they've been said, that construction and impact on adjacent properties is important, and that's important to share as well. The only other thing I'd like to kind of share is that when you look at the variances, I do consider the variance in general minor. In general, I mean, to a large degree, the FSI going up by 0.2 to me seems minor. Some of the height and adjacencies, and some of them are based upon existing site conditions. So I feel like a lot of these things are relatively minor in nature. But I do agree that the adjacency and the importance of the adjacent buildings is an important consideration if the project proceeds and is built.
Thank you. Any other comments, or do we have a motion?
Just quickly, I'll agree. I mean, it's not surprising you see small bungalows in a cul-de-sac like this with a fairly, I'd call them almost prestige lots, because they are backing onto a ravine. It might be noisy on occasion because it's DVP, but still, you don't have any neighbors in behind you, and they are large lots. So it's not surprising that owners are looking to build on and expand their property, because they are quite desirable lots. I was initially concerned about the setbacks, but as both neighbors are concerned about the setbacks. But if it's an existing condition, that it is what it is, right? So going up an extra story isn't significant. And as the agent points out, they're not looking for an overall height variance. They're not looking for length and depth variances. So for the most part, they're trying, even though I appreciate the neighbors are concerned that it's large and significant massing, by our standards in terms of how you apply the bylaws, this building doesn't kind of fit that description. I think it's a reasonable application. The variances, as Paul pointed out, I think the variances generally before us are quite minor. So I think it's a supportable application.
Okay. And any other comments, or we have a motion? Yeah. Okay, please, Philip. Yeah.
Sure. It is the side yard setbacks that I think attracted the most attention and could be the most concerning. But not only are they existing conditions, I would note that they're also the very much prevailing condition for every lot and house on this street. That's just how this street was built at the time it was built. I think we've said our pieces. I agree with my colleagues that the variances, when we look at the actual numbers and the nature of redevelopment in areas like this, are minor, and the impacts are minor within the way that it's defined here at the committee, and for those reasons I would move to approve it. Subject to, are there conditions? Forestry 3.
RNFP 1 too. It's a slightly
okay.
different.
Yeah,
Phil, would you be open to a friendly amendment? The agent did offer to make the driveway out of permeable pavers, and I think that would be something we should take him up on.
Yeah, I agree, actually, given that there is a front landscaping variance. So yes, subject to that condition as well.
Okay. I'm happy to second that, Chair.
Right through the chair, there are Metrolinx conditions, should you choose to impose them.
Yeah, because it's not an advisory comment. It is a sort of requirement that they have approval for Metrolink, for right of way, I think.
Yeah, it's the environmental easement.
The warning clause and environmental easement.
The warning clause, I similarly think doesn't actually accomplish all that much, and Metrolinx isn't here, so I wouldn't add those.
No, okay.
Okay.
Because the rail line's down in the valley? Is that what it is?
It seems that they have to, they seem to have, it's an easement issue, it's a right of way
I do
issue.
think it's that for the Richmond Hill line.
The Richmond Hill line's down in the valley, yeah.
Way down.
Okay.
And that's a TRCA requirement, application permit
I
requirement.
thought they've already got
Yeah,
TRCA approval.
but we have a report from TRCA. Yeah, I don't know. They
They have no objection.
Yeah, they don't ask for a condition, but they note that a permit application
Okay.
will be required.
All right, so everyone, all right, that's fine. There's a forestry condition 3.
Forestry 3, RFNP 1, and the a driveway to be constructed of permeable pavers.
Okay, so anyone want to second? Larry want to second that, and then all in favor of those conditions? Approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, now we move to item number 26, which is 45 Cherrywood Avenue. The application is to alter existing two-story semi-detached.
Sorry,
Okay.
Could we perhaps take a brief?
Sure, yeah, well, for 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
Just 5 would be fine.
5 minutes? Okay, we come back in 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Okay, members, yeah, just mute your microphones, please, and turn off your videos.
Okay, we resume now. The next item is number 26, 45 Cherrywood Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached routing by constructing a front cover porch with stairs and a rear two-story addition and a third-story addition with a rear balcony and a rear ground floor deck with stairs. We receive a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations. And we have a red line public notice, and we have 8 photographs of trees of the property and presentation material from the agent. We received support from a total 17 letters of support. 36, 44, 53, 54, 57, 57, 68, 72 Cherrywood Drive, and also 36 on Wildwood Avenue. And also we have 6 addresses from Cherrywood and Humewood Drive. We have a letter withdrawn of their support from 51 Cherrywood Avenue. We have letters of concerns from no address attached to. There's another letter of concern from Mario Waka, but no address attached to, and also from 51 Cherrywood Avenue. So we received a number of oppositions. Most of them are on Cherrywood Avenue, which is 56, 58, 60, 34, 49, 47, 43, and 50 from Cherrywood, and one from Washington, 557, and also 163 from Humewood Drive. We also received some opposition material from 47 Cherrywood. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, just a reminder to the members to turn on your videos. I believe Member McKay and Ghosh, please. Thank you. In terms of this application for speakers, we have the agent online and we have speakers here in opposition.
Yes.
And this is an amended application with the applicant submitting a red line notice, so perhaps you can have the applicant go through their changes.
Yes, yes, of the agent, and go through the changes first before the presentation. Yeah, okay.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. My name is Tay Rook. I am the planner for the owners of the property at 45 Cherrywood Avenue, and I'm at 18 Yonge Street. With regards to the red line revision, you'll see it on the screen. It's related to variance number 2 and the exterior main wall at the north and south, which are the side walls. It's been reduced from 10.64 meters down to the 9.13 meters.
Okay, that's a good improvement, right? You reduce about 1.5 meter, right? Thank you.
So can I just ask a question? So, but your variance number 3 for the front main wall stays the same?
Correct, sir. And I could go through that as I go through the variances, if you like.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the only revision, right? Yeah.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, since you have quite a few opposition, and although you have quite a few support too, can you start your presentation? We give you 5 minutes to do it. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure. Through you, Madam Chair. If you go to the presentation slides that I provided to the committee, what you have is an area context map that highlights the subject site in a red dashed line. In addition to those properties that have been highlighted in purple, those properties represent properties that have reduced side yard setbacks from the bylaw requirement of 1.5 meters. This area will be characterized, I'm sure you guys, the committee has driven through the site, but as a very tightly knit neighborhood. And a majority of the properties do not meet the 1.5 meter side yard setback standard, including the existing property itself and the adjacent properties. Mm-hmm. What you have is and also in addition to that, what you have, if you go to the next slide, the third slide, you have variances related to the front and rear walls. And At the front, you see the area that's been highlighted in green. It relates to the peaked area in the front of the dwelling that requires the height variance. And I would submit to the committee from an overall massing perspective, because the overall height requirements are met, which is 11 meters, and the proposed overall height is 10.93. From a massing perspective, this will not be a flat wall that would be presenting to the street that would overwhelm the streetscape in any manner. With regards to the rear main wall, and actually, if you could go to the fourth slide, so there's the fifth slide, it's the side elevation. What you have is a roofline situation where it is 10.93 meters at the peak. And so if you could please go to the side elevation of my presentation slide. You'll see the peak of 10.93, and at the front, which is towards the right, slightly lower, that's what's being presented. But from that peak towards the rear yard at the back, it slopes downwards. This was done consciously to ensure the impacts to the adjacent neighbors on both sides were limited in terms of the massing that would be presented towards the adjacent properties. And so you'll see that, and there's also variances related to the side walls, and you'll note that there's a small green strip along that edge that represents the amount of main wall height that's in excess of the requirement of 8.5 meters. The reason why the rear wall has a main wall height is because the slope of the roof isn't steep enough to be deemed to be a main wall. So if it was a steeper roof line, that variance would not exist. But once again, it was a conscious effort by the designer and by the architect and my client to ensure that there is a slope roof at the back, to ensure that it's not an 10.93 roofing mass that would be presented to either sides of the property. With regards to the balcony on the third-story deck, you'll note that the highlighted area in yellow represents that deck or the balcony, and it's recessed into the roof line. There is an area variance that's being sought at 9.57 meters, whereas 4 square meters is permitted. But I would submit to the committee, because it's recessed into the roof line, from a sightline perspective, you will not be able to see the adjacent properties on either side. The only views that my client would have from that balcony would be towards the rear yard. And you'll note that from a setback perspective on the rear yard, the proposal is in compliance with. And with regards to the length and depth variances, there aren't any, and this is a building envelope that's pretty much as a right in terms of the way it's been massed or deployed on the property. We understand that there are concerns from neighbors at this time with regards to certain issues, and I would be glad to provide a rebuttal unless you have any questions of me right now.
Okay, thank you. We will maybe hear the oppositions, and we'll come back to you, okay? Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we can start with the opposition here in person. If you could please come to the podium.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Madam Chairman, committee members. My name is Barry Brooks. My address is 33 Mill Street, Suite 1903 in Toronto. I'm a professional planner representing the owners of 43 Cherrywood, Mike Betts, and Carly Wall. And I'll be speaking on their behalf. Mike Betts has also submitted a letter outlining his concerns as well.
Okay. Do you want us to bring any material first before? Yeah, we can.
Yeah, if you could bring up the one document which was submitted June 7th, and it's 4 photographs of the subject property and the neighbor's property.
Okay.
Want to pull that one up? I'll primarily be referring to that document and perhaps to the applicant's elevation and side yard, front elevation and south side.
Is this one? We got the right? For,
don't think we're there yet.
is it a letter you want to bring up first?
Yeah, I was just going to say, before we get started, just get that image up, because I'm going to make reference to it, if you don't mind.
No.
That's my letter. It's color photographs is the other one. That came in on the 4th. The other one came in on the 7th, June 7th. And I think it's on page 1 or 2 of the AIC. Near the bottom. It's a separate document.
Maybe it's in the supplemental. Because,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So are we ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's go then.
Okay. So I'll make some specific comments on the application and references to the applicant's plan and photos of my client's property. Cherrywood Avenue is a tree-lined residential street with a mix of two-story and semi-detached buildings, detached two-story residential buildings, and a few more new three-story detached residential buildings. My client and his family have lived in their semi-detached home for 15 years and have only added a modest rear ground floor deck to the exterior over that period of time. If you look up, move that up, you can see the rear deck. If you move that photograph up a little higher, there's photos below it that are larger. Okay, well, yeah, so below that there's 4 photographs, but you can see to the right is, yeah. Let's go up above that one, please, and to your right.
It's left, to the right.
That's the front elevation of the house. Okay, this is the south side of the 43 Cherrywood, which is the adjacent property to the subject property 45. So there's a school, Humewood School, community school property, parking lot, excuse me, to the south side. And to the north is 45 Cherrywood, which is the subject property. Okay, so the abutting neighbor, if we can go up the photos again to look at the rear yard of 43 Cherrywood. Yeah, to the right there. Yes. So the top right-hand corner is an image of the rear yard of 43 Cherrywood, and directly abutting it is 45 Cherrywood, the subject property. The abutting owner, which is the owner of 45 Cherrywood, has chosen to substantially increase the size and height of their half of the semi-detached house rather than to relocate to a larger home somewhere else. And this has resulted in two full stories and a partial 3-story rear addition. This decision is adding substantially to a 100-plus-year-old home and has impacts on my client's enjoyment of the rear yard visually in terms of the sky view looking north, because the 2-story plus partial 3-story that slopes is only 4 inches away or 10 centimeters away from the property line. So where you see that fence, you can virtually imagine where that height goes. And if you look at the applicant's drawings, which you've seen already, the south side elevation, you'll see how that wall goes virtually straight up and then slopes once it hits the 3rd floor. Mm-hmm. So that is a concern for my clients about the neighbor's application. Also, my client's family future privacy is affected by a combination of the larger deck on the 3rd floor, which has been mentioned, that cuts into the roof line, but at the same time, there's also a rear deck added at the ground floor at the back, which extends the building out further into the rear yard. And by doing that, the rear yard, they are basically into the area where there's been some flooding historically. So between the future privacy of my neighbor and the other issues, the major concerns is the impact of the size of and structure of massing of this development. And basically, I'd like to say in closing that my client's concerns are with how it will appear on the street in terms of all the other semi-detaches are 2 stories, and while this is being a three-story on one side of the building and not on both sides equally. If you go to the front elevation, you can visualize what it's going to look like. This photo is a recent one taken by myself. Basically, you're looking at a pair of semi-detached buildings across the street, imagining the changing character and the appearance of a 3rd story from front facade addition, which was approved, and how that would be established, how to establish the character of the 2-story semi-detached homes on the street. So from a neighborhood perspective, we're looking at the potential for a precedent being set here by this elevation, the front elevation of a 3rd story. And in conclusion, this application is not good planning in terms of the scale, massing, density, and height. It does not respect the established character of the street and pushes the envelope on going beyond the maximum density established in the neighborhood for semi-detached dwellings, as well as the adverse impact on both my client's property at 43 Cherrywood and the 47 Cherrywood property to the north, where in addition to privacy and overlook issues, shadow impacts also apply. I recommend your committee refuse it in its current form and recommend the applicant come back with revisions that are closer in keeping with the city's official plan and zoning bylaw. And when I refer to the city official plan, I'm talking about chapter 2, point 3.1.1, which talks about reinforcing the physical character of the neighborhood.
Thank you.
And the character is 2 stories. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, happy to.
Maybe we do
Quick
have.
question, if I could. So you're the adjoining semi,
Yes, 43.
or your client is.
Yeah.
Has the applicant had any discussions or reached out to share the plans with your client?
Yes, I actually, on behalf of my client, was asked to speak to the owner of 45, and I did so about a week ago, and asked him if he and his wife were interested in making some further adjustments to their plans, such as either eliminating or reducing the 3rd floor, as opposed to allowing most of the rest of it to be okay. And he said, no, he'd rather not defer to do that change and accept the committee's decision either way, approving or refusing it in its current form.
So you mentioned the concern about the extension, the 2-story extension off the back.
Yes.
But your client's major concern is the 3rd story.
It's because you could basically, they have enough density they could add a rear 2-story addition.
Right.
2 stories. They're a little bit higher on that, but when you add the 3rd story to it, which is not traditionally, you don't find a lot of 3-story semis with one-sided like that, that puts an additional pressure on them in terms of the overbearing massing with 4 inches from the rear yard line. So this is one of their major concerns with it, I'd say.
Thank you. Any more questions to this speaker? Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Next.
Franco, you've been unmuted.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Franco Romano, Action Planning, 321 Lakeshore. And staff can bring up the presentation
What address?
material.
Can you tell us your address too, please?
Yeah, 321 Lakeshore.
Okay.
Staff can bring up my presentation materials in opposition under 47 Cherrywood.
Okay.
Excellent. Terrific. If we can start with slide number 2, please. So my clients, Mr. Austin and Ms. Pascal, own 47 Cherrywood, the property immediately to the north. And 47 Cherrywood is a detached dwelling, and it is approximately 14 to 17 centimeters from the south lot line. So that would be an example of a tighter side yard setback. And that sits beside the existing 45 Cherrywood, which has a 2.13 meter north side yard setback because it's a driveway. Driveway functions along the side. And of course, 45 on the south side is attached, so it has a 0 meter setback. And I believe that much of Mr. Rook's slide for the property context illustrates that semi-detached dwellings have a tight side yard setback on one side, but they are generally larger on the opposite side, and that's indicative of the neighborhood. What is being proposed here is shown in orange, and it is going to be closer to my client's property, and it is going to be taller. It's certainly within the overall height, but one cannot reach that overall height with the proposed massing and scale because floor space index comes into play and wall height comes into play. And I think Mr. Brooks identified earlier that one cannot achieve the third story that is being proposed because of what the zoning bylaw requires in totality. And what is being sought here in front of the committee is an ask for side yard setback, wall height on all four sides, and floor space index. And then there's a balcony. There's a number of provisions that are being varied in order to expand this building envelope. So then it will have impacts not only on privacy and overlook onto my client's property, particularly given the close proximity, but also sunlight, natural sunlight, as well as direct sunlight. The sun travels from the right-hand side of this page down to the bottom and over to the left-hand side of this page. So the direct sunlight impact is significant, but for that third story, there wouldn't be that type of impact. If we go to slide number 3, we'll see that the character of semi-detached dwellings on Cherrywood and in this neighborhood, on slide number 3, if staff can please go to the next slide, is illustrated here. This is Cherrywood, 2-story dwellings. In terms of semi-detached, you might have a hip roof on top of a shallow hip roof on top of the 2-story semi, or you may have the second story built fully within the roof line in a dormer fashion. And what is being proposed here is 3 stories plus a roof on top of that. So it's a significant difference in mass, height, and scale. You'll see the interface if you look at the top middle photograph. 14 to 15 centimeters of my client's property on the left. That building is located in the 2.13 meter setback that is currently there today on the subject site. On slide number 4, you'll see the streetscape and an image that shows the semi-detached, the detached, and the proposal. I would say that this creates on the subject site an outlier condition. And this is on slide number 4. Staff can please go to slide number 4. The third story brings the proposed site into an anomaly condition, not only on the street, but certainly in relation to number 43 and in relation to number 47, 49, 51, the immediate context. And if we go to slide number 5, on slide number 5, we'll see that semi-detached dwellings do occupy a significant number of properties on Cherrywood, the immediate context. And you'll see I've highlighted where number 45 is. On the second from the left in the aqua colored, we'll see that there is not a single property on the street in the immediate context that have a floor space index. It has a floor space index that is as large as what is being proposed here. Again, an outlier. In terms of wall height, there is only one other property in the immediate context that has a wall height that is similar.
Your 5 minutes is up. Yeah. Can you make a quick? Yeah.
And in terms of 2 stories or less, all of the 3 stories, and there's only a few of them, are detached properties. So I would submit that the variance request here is not minor, has significant adverse impacts, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. All right. So any question to this speaker? No, we don't have question for you. So let's hear the next speaker.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's all the speakers for this application.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let's bring back the applicant. Hopefully he knows all the issues and he's going to address them, please, yeah.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Just to address Mr. Brooks, there was a statement about relocating, my client's relocating to another property, and then rather than intensifying, well, that's their choice. They enjoy this neighborhood and they wish to stay, and to suit their family needs, they need to do an addition to satisfy their needs. With regards to the enjoyment of the rear yard, of the neighboring property at 443, once again, the potential for intensification is applicable to all properties within this neighborhood in terms of height of 11 meters and also the number of stories. So you'll note that there is no variances related to the number of stories. 3 stories is permitted. Total height requirement is 11 meters, which the subject proposal is under. With regards to the 3rd-story balcony, I've been advised that that variance can be removed and we can meet the 4 square meters for the 3rd-story balcony. So we are willing to remove variance number 5.
Okay. So are you doing it right now with this for this
Yes.
application? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And with regards to Mr. Brooks' concerns of statements regarding the massing of the development and shadow impact, once again, the permitted height in this area or this neighborhood is 11 meters. We're under that. So any shadows that would be caused as a result of this development at 10.93 meters is anticipated by the bylaw and also and also within the realm of acceptability in terms of shadow impacts to adjacent properties. But once again, as I indicated earlier, when you refer back to the side elevation, it's only at a peak at the middle of the property, and from that peak, it slopes downwards towards the rear. And once again, this was done to protect the adjacent neighborhoods in terms of having sensitivity towards the massing against the adjacent neighbors. With regards to Mr. Romano's comments about, we only have variances related to setback for the north lot line as it relates to the rear deck, the at-grade deck, and also towards the building. Once again, as indicated, what you find in this neighborhood, whether it be semis or singles, is a side yard setback characteristic or character, which is well below the 1.5 meter requirement. As indicated, the driveway width is 2.1, or the separation distance between 47 and 45 is 2.1 meters, but is being reduced down to 1.21. And once again, that 2.13 meters is a driveway, and it's not wide enough to get a car. And the current situation is that the cars are being parked out front, which is permitted. There's no landscaping variances with regards to this proposal. There's no length or depth variances with regards to this proposal. And with regards to Mr. Romano, once again, brought up shadows, and I discussed that earlier. We're under the height requirements of 11 meters. And once again, it's only at a single point. And the number of stories, once again, 3 stories is permitted. It's not a variance. And all of the dwellings, whether it be singles or semis, have the ability for in the future for potential intensification, whether it be single detached or semi-detached, to be 3 stories and 11 meters in height. And those are my comments. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay, any question to the applicant? No, I do have one question. Can the staff bring up the photograph of the two property, the front elevation? Yes, that's one that is showing. Yeah, the upper one. You zoom in there. That's the semi-detached we're talking about, right? You can see that chimney. My question is that chimney, if you build your addition, will that affect, is that a shared chimney or what?
No, it's on our side.
It's on your side.
If you look correct. So if you look at our elevation at the front, you'll note that the chimney is gone, and it will not. And any obviously through constructions, if there's any damage or occurrences that would occur, we would obviously fix it on the attached property.
Oh, it's fine. I just want to make sure there's not
Yeah.
there chimney that you're going to sort of put a, put an addition over. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, we do not have any more questions. We heard all the speakers. Now we are in committee. Yeah. Yes. Anyone want to start with this one? Don't forget, we have deleted also variance number 5, so we have 5 variances, and number 2 has been reduced. Yeah. Yes, Philip Goss, yeah.
I can see everyone's enthusiastic to start on this one. It's a bit of an odd proposal. So I guess my comments are I'm sort of on the fence. I don't think the idea that it's a semi means that it can't have a third story and the semis have to be symmetrical. I mean, that sort of comment to me doesn't bear weight. I do think that they're trying to be sensitive when you look at where the third story is going. When it's not right on the line with the attached house, and it's a little more towards the front rather than in the rear, so it's less impactful in that sense. So I guess maybe I'm talking myself into saying it's supportable. It's definitely odd, but that's not a reason not to approve it. The height is allowed. It's the wall heights that are variances. The 0.94 versus 0.8 is not such a big FSI variance. They've removed the balcony variance. The side yard setback is a variance, but 1.2 is still pretty large for, which they're going to have, is still pretty large for old neighborhoods like this. So I do understand why the neighbors sort of feel this is a bit of a change to the character. So maybe it's that sort of part of the official plan that sort of comes into play, but I'm not sure that it's such a deviation when our neighborhoods are changing that it's not approvable. If it, I think the impacts are minor.
I can add some, just more similar on that line. Yeah, it seems that the increase is quite large in terms of graphic. It just extends out quite a bit. But when you look at the numbers, I would say that maybe perhaps because the site can accommodate this kind of increase, because when you look at the variances, it doesn't look too bad, the increase, right, in terms of numbers. But if in terms of what's existing now, it is quite a large addition at the back. Yeah. So that's my, yes, Mr. McKay, and also then Mr. Gogan, yeah, please, yeah.
I'm more of the view that it's out of character with the street in terms of thinking about semis. Mr. Romano used the term outlier, and I think I would adopt that as a sort of a short form of the difficulties that I have with the application. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. And yes, Mr. Gogan.
Yeah, I'll add on to this. So I loved all the wood streets in this part of town, Kenwood, Wychwood, all of them. They're really nice family-oriented streets. They have a nice scale to them. I do appreciate the effort that was given to create sloped roofs so that when you're at the pedestrian level, it's not a boxy building, it's actually sloped and it's got a manageable scale. And I also think that modifying a semi-detached building is very complex to minimize disruption to the adjacent owner, and but also to work with the kind of the shared common wall going forward. So again, statistically, they do seem like very relatively minor variances, and I also think it looks like a lot of thought went into creating a solution that minimized disruption to the adjacent landowner. I think that the the blank wall that the adjacent homeowner will look at is unfortunate, but I don't know what the solution would be for, other than that.
Semi-detached, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
you said-
Anyway, but
you said that.
I generally find this a supportable application.
Okay, Larry?
I, like everyone else, I struggle with these ones. You know, the city is characterized by a vast number of semi-detached homes, and every semi-detached home has the right to put additions on and expand their home, just as if it was detached. But I do find in situations where, you know, the adjacent semi has raised fairly significant concerns and have shared with us what they see as being the negative impact. And in this case, while there have been some modifications, there hasn't really been any substantive discussion, I think, with the adjacent semi. And that troubles me. You know, when you share a wall, you share a backyard, you share so many different things that I think there's a proposal here. I think that there is quite likely, you know, maybe even a better proposal for all. But I'm not sure that at this stage, even with the little tweaks that I think the agent has brought forward, necessarily reflect or at least try to mitigate the concerns of the owner of the adjacent semi. The property to the south, you know, I understand their concern, but I'm more concerned, frankly, with the impact of this application on the adjacent semi and the lack of any kind of constructive dialogue between the two to try to further address. I mean, I don't know if that would result in eliminating the third story, but there might be opportunities to manage the third story in a different way that would reduce the impact. So in this instance, I'm not going to be able to support it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, finally, we have all expressed our view, and then can someone try to put a motion on the table, see how it goes?
Sure, I'll try. I do think I talked myself into finding it supportable, and I agree with Mr. Gogan's comments as well that, and it's a bit of what I said before. I think there was effort to make the third story minimally impacting, and they can do the rear bump out as of right. So I will move to approve it as amended, so that means eliminating variance 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also modify number 2, yeah.
Yeah, subject to the forestry condition number 2.
Yeah. And yes, there's a motion on the floor with that, and I do agree also the Mr. Gogan's view that it seems that, yes, there's work to be done in terms of how to mitigate the impact on the semi. But I'm not really too sure how much that it's still a very tough situation. I really think that that's in any case. So there's a motion on the floor. Anyone willing to second that motion? Yes.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify, urban forestry condition I don't have that in my notes.
You don't?
Can we just double check? So it was variance number 2 that the applicant revised, and they removed variance number 5.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's no, I don't have that on
Okay,
my notes.
my
Put it
mistake.
in anyways, Phil.
So no urban forestry condition. I think you were just meaning variance number 2.
Variance number 2, yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Mr. Gogan, second. All in favor of the amended agenda? Yeah. 3-2, and Mr. Clay and Mr. McCain dissented. Yeah. Is approved as 3-2. Yes. All right, now the next item is item number 27, 181 Manning Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair. So this is the start of what was the 3 p.m. Time slot. So we've ended we've ended the 2 p.m. time slot. We're now on to what was scheduled as the 3 p.m. Session of our agenda, starting with item 27.
3 p.m., so almost 6. Okay, we are about 3 hours later. Item number 27 is still number 27, though. 181 Manning Avenue is to construct a new 2-story exterior building containing 1 parking space on the ground floor and a laneway suite on the 2nd floor, with a cantilever second story located in the rear yard of the property. There will be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot, one in the main building and the other one in the auxiliary building. We received a survey, site plan, floor plans, elevations, revised site plan, and landscape plans, and a red line public hearing. We have a revised zoning waiver, and we have 3 photographs of trees of the property, cover letter from the agent, and also decision affecting the subject property. And we have a tree protection plan. We received that. And we have received also comment from community planning. We have received support from 552 Manning Avenue, and also 2 letters in support, 177, 183 Manning Avenue. Yeah. We don't seem to have receive any opposition, but yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee.
You do not have any oppositions. I'm going to tell us your name. Give us your name and address first to start with, please. Yeah.
Sure. So my name is Marco Razzolini from Sakura Design. We are located at 20 Stave Bank Road, Unit 202 in Mississauga. I am the agent for the application.
Yes. Also, maybe before we start, you have some changes or revision on the agenda. Please go through that with us first.
Yes, so I believe we submitted a marked up waiver.
And if you can make those changes based on the order of our agenda.
Just the one.
Yeah, just the one, right, which is.
Landscaping. Yeah.
Yeah, but what variance is that? Number.
It's just, there's only one variance.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was reading. It's only the same one. Yeah, that makes it very easy. I don't have to count.
Through the chair to the agent, if you could just verbally state for the record what the change is. We have the change on the screen, but please state for the record.
Yes, so we will be proposing a soft landscaping of 66% and 59.44 meters squared. Previously, it was 85% and 76.4 meters squared.
Okay, so we got that change. All right. So now again, we do not have any opposition. I'm going to see whether our panel requires a presentation. No.
Sorry, if I could just correct myself. I think I was just reading your screen as what the original was. The 85 is what the required is.
All right. So now you changed 37 to 66%. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. My mistake.
Yeah, and then we have the area here on the red line is 59.44 square meter. Yeah. So anyone? We have questions. Yeah.
Where did you find the 29% on the site plan?
We had originally basically a pool deck that went around. It was a concrete or paver stone pool deck that was surrounding the pool. We eliminated that, and that was a pretty big chunk of the number. The remaining percentage is just the 2 tiered decks that are against the main house.
Great, thank you. I think that's a great.
That's great improvement. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Chair, I think, given that, and it's the laneway suite is as of right? They conform with everything. So it's nice, frankly, to see that, come before us when There are no variances for the as of right, so unless my colleagues have any comments, I'm prepared to move a motion to approve this one, subject to planning conditions, which is tying the approval to the revised site plan.
Yeah, as amended agenda, right? As amended? Okay. So anyone, we will have second to this, okay, Mr. McKay second. All in favor with the amended and also the conditions? Unanimously approved, yeah.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah, with the conditions though, right, tying to the plan. Next item is number 28, 151 Barton Avenue. This is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling, detached building containing one commercial unit and two residential dwelling units. By constructing a front patio and also to permit an eating establishment on this site, we receive a survey site plan, floor plans and elevations, and 3 photographs of tree of the property. We receive comment from transportation engineering. We receive support from someone called David Mender, but no address, and we have received 29 formal letters in support, all from Barton Street and one from Christie Street, from Clinton Street, from also Euclid Street. We have received also support from a number of support from Palmerston and Markham and Albany Street. It's too many to read out, but we also receive a letter of concern from 148 Barton Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and we have a speaker registered to speak in interest. It appears in person, and then 2 other speakers listed in interest, but they're from the same address. So we'll just have to have the one person from the household, or you share the time. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So let's bring the agent, yeah.
Hello, my name is Joanne Lam, and I'm the agent for the client. My address is 692 St. Clarence Avenue, Unit 1.
Okay. You do have some opposition want to speak, and some, people with concern. So can you give us a presentation in 5 minutes, please? Yeah.
Sure. Currently, the building is your typical semi-detached house located at the corner of Christie and Barton, next to Christie Pitts Park. The corner on the ground floor is a convenience store, and our client would like to turn the convenience store into a quick eats establishment, really to serve pizza and ice cream.
Okay.
We understand that the patio is not really in the purview of the committee, and that the clients understand that they will need to apply for a separate sidewalk cafe permit. It is only included for information only, so that the community, when they are reading the drawings, they understand what is the intention of this quick eats establishment. The clients have been actually working with the neighbor at 149 Barton Avenue. Their neighbor would like to have a privacy screen, and that is absolutely in line with what our clients have been thinking. And in fact, they already have started working together with the neighbor on what the privacy screen would look like. They also have the concerns about the exhaust from the restaurant. That is the intention, to exhaust onto Christie. Regarding the concern about garbage, The intention is to have the garbage bins stored at the back of the building, currently where the parking spaces are and which are not used. So they will be storing their bins over there. And as to the opening hours, they are thinking, of course, in the beginning, they would only open for shorter amount of times just to get the cafe going. But eventually, they would like to open it from noon to about 9 p.m., nothing late, so that it's really to be in line with the busiest time of the people using the park. They agree with not having any music on the patio, and based on our clients' contact with the community, there is a lot of excitement about it. There's also a lot of questions, understandably, but the idea is really to provide a cafe that is really for the community and to liven up the corner and to serve the users of the park. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So we listen to the oppositions first, and then we get back to you with our questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Through the chair, if you're here to speak, please come to the podium if you're here in person.
Good afternoon, or good evening, I guess now. My name's Richard Nguyen Marshall. I live at 149 Barton Avenue, so I'm right next to the proposed eatery. So I submitted a letter of concern, and I wasn't actually sure whether I should label it letter of concern or letter of support, because overall, I am in favor of this, and I would really like to see it go forward. It'll be a great improvement aesthetically to the corner, and look forward to having their artisanal ice cream and pizza, so that would be good. So in my letter, I don't even know if there's a point of bringing it up. Joanne, who was just speaking, went through my concerns. The main one that we had was really with whether having a patio there would infringe upon our privacy. But I've discussed it with the proprietors, Tiffany and Daniel, and what they envision for how it will look and how it will be managed seems nothing but an improvement over what's there presently for the corner. So yeah, overall, I'm in support. Yeah.
All right.
And I can say just from comments of people walking down the street and seeing the public notice who don't know what's going there, on occasion when I've been outside and talking to people, people are looking forward to it.
Yes.
So
I have a question. I do not know whether it classifies as a question or a comment. You did mention that you're hoping the exhaust fan will be facing Christie instead of your side.
Yeah, so there's an old fan. I don't even know what it was used for, because I don't think it was used when the convenience store was there. That presently goes towards Barton. And so where our properties, as you exit, so it's like semi-detached, as you exit our place on Barton, the shared fence would be right there. So the fan that, like I said, I don't know if it's for the convenience store was not being used. So I'm not sure where the exhaust will be. But from talking to the proprietors, I think they understand that going towards Christie would be.
I thought I heard her say that she was going to appoint Christie.
Yeah.
So that's the next question is that I do not know which department or who will control where the exhaust can be, whether it's the building department or. That's the question.
Okay.
We cannot say that they are going to do that and that is going to happen. I think that they still have to apply and get approved for which street that they have to exhaust. That's my questions.
I guess from my perspective,
Yeah.
I trust that they'll make a good good decision there and
It's
do their
good.
best.
More practical to shoot it out that way than into your backyard, right?
Well, so going out onto Barton, depending on how the winds go, it may not be an issue at all. Or it could be, again, depending on how the winds go, that I'll always be hungry.
But at least you're in communication with them. I think that you can push your idea to them. But I think that I don't know whether this committee can deal with that.
Okay.
Any question to this?
I think the best thing is that you have an active dialogue with them, and I think
Yeah.
that will result in the best possible outcome. So I think that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Any more question to this speaker? No. So we have a next speaker. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, the other speaker was also from the same household, and then the third speaker is listed as observing. So that's all the speakers, unless there's somebody else in the audience from a different address. No. Okay. No more speakers to this item.
Okay, thank you. So let's bring back the agent. Maybe we can address the concern. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, regarding the exhaust to Christie, that's something that we anticipate we will need to address through the building permit process when we apply for the building permit as well as the associated mechanical permit. It's something that we have had preliminary discussions over. The intention will be to have the exhaust to Christie, and if there is any issue with that, then we'll need to look at another option to potentially exhaust it through the roof. So that's something we will definitely address, and it's clear that nobody, including our client, would really want exhaust onto the front yard, particularly since they intend to have a patio there. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Yeah, we have some questions.
So it's a cafe, it's artisanal stuff. Are you planning to go for a liquor license?
There's some talk of that, but again, that will need to be subject to whether they get the license or not. If they do obtain a liquor license, it would only be a limited selection of wine and beer, because in Christie Pits you are allowed to have alcohol in the summer. So they may simply offer like takeaway options so that people can enjoy it in the park.
Excellent.
But there is absolutely no intention to turn this into a bar at all.
Okay, any other questions? I do have one question because it's based on your presentation. You did mention that you are bound by some operating conditions. You did mention there's no amplifier music allowed, and there's some kind of limitations on the operation hours. Do you have some kind of restrictions that we do not know? Because
no, that was simply to address the concerns from a neighbor at 149 Barton.
She's offering that. Okay, I understand. There's no actually, current restrictions, because this is like not a permitted use in our zone. I just thought maybe you are restricted to some conditions. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Yeah. All right.
I actually love this. I think these are the kinds of establishments that really animate streets and bring a positive vibe to these kinds of areas. The fact that it's across from a park, I think, is a bonus. I know that the city has considered allowing these kinds of establishments mid-block in neighborhoods on streets. They are going out for further consultation. I do hope, frankly, that they find a way to see a path forward to approve these kinds of things. But this is exactly the kind of small based establishment that, local residents can use and people using the park can benefit from. I do hope it stays the way you're proposing and doesn't get out of hand, and I don't think it will, but I think otherwise it's a very positive development. I can wholeheartedly support it.
Okay. And second, with Philip? Yeah.
So I just wanted to use the opportunity to plug our colleague who's not here, Dylan Reed's book on messy cities. I saw this and thought, this is exactly good mess.
Yeah,
It's not,
for sure.
It's a little odd, but this.
Although to fit that, they probably would have to do this illegally, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So are you seconding?
29 support letters, only artisanal ice cream can get you that.
Yeah. Are you seconding that?
Yeah, I'll second.
I didn't actually make a motion, but I will.
Oh, you haven't made a
I will
motion
move a motion to approve this application. I think, I don't think I need to put conditions about amplified music and hours. I think that we'll just let the proprietor proceed the way that they have suggested they're going to.
Before Philip, before you second that, I'd like to add my comment. I always amazed this kind of application. They always draw a lot of support from different addresses. I always get amazed. Yeah. Okay. Are you seconding it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We second. All in favor, with no conditions. Yeah.
No conditions.
Unanimously approved. Okay. Let's stop. Mr. Goss. Didn't you tell us that you have to leave?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, just for the record, Member Ghosh will be absent for the rest of the hearing. We'll mark him as such on the decisions. Thank you.
Okay. Now we move to item number 29. It's 83 is LOWTHER Avenue. That's how it's pronounced, right? To alter the existing townhouse dwelling, which is like six split levels, by constructing a front dormer with a balcony and a rear addition with a deck on the sixth level. We received a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 8 photographs of trees on the property, and covering letter from the agent, and a tree protection plan. We receive also presentation material from the agent, and we also correspondence from the applicant. We received support from 77 LOWTHER and also opposition from 81A LOWTHER Avenue.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online. We have no registered speakers. The 2 speakers that were registered appear to be the owners of the site, so we will go to the agent.
It seems that they're looking for one variance here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Not much.
All right.
Hi, good evening,
Yes.
Madam Speaker, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Buckland, and I'm speaking on behalf of the owners of 83 Lowther Avenue in Toronto.
Okay. You do not have any opposition, right? I just make sure you do not. You have support. So I'm going to check whether the panel wants to have a presentation. Do anyone want to?
Through you, Madam Chair, just to clarify for the
Yes.
record, there was a correspondence received in opposition from 81 Lowther Avenue, but there are no registered speakers for the site.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's why I'm reading it wrong. Yeah, that's one opposition. Yeah. So I guess the third question may be, do we need a presentation? Okay, we do not need a presentation, but maybe you can quickly address the opposition from 81A.
Yes, I'd be very happy to do that. So I know that the owners of 83, Leon and Christine, spoke with Pat Flood next door, the attached neighbor, and she had concerns. And yes, you've got them up there. I believe there's 7 concerns. Would you like me to go through them and address each one, or?
Oh, no, quickly, that you think that if you can group them together, that make it short for sure. If you do not, just the relevant points, a certain thing, this application cannot address, right? So, but then just give us a quick, maybe concise.
A quick summary,
Yeah.
sure. Well, I think I think a lot of her points were actually had to do more with the permitting process, water management, structural. She was concerned about the quality of the soil and the weight of the extra addition on the foundations. So there was a few of them that aren't really sort of relevant to this conversation.
Yes.
So I kind of distilled what points she made that are relevant to this hearing. She's concerned about basically there's a 4 square meter dormer at the front with a door and a walkout. That is because that room is going to be both an office and it's going to double as a bedroom. This is a blended family of 8. The current house is 2,800 square feet, and believe it or not, only has 2 usable bedrooms with doors. So we're going to be adding 5. We're essentially creating 5 bedrooms total.
Thank you.
In order for that front bedroom to be used as a bedroom, for egress in the building code, you have to have a walkout because it's on the 3rd floor. So, well, sort of on the 6th floor, but it's a split level. So that if firefighters come to the site, the person could step out on the deck that's sleeping and be essentially, lifted down by the firefighters. So that's 4 square meters at the front. She was concerned about the character of the property from the street. It's a small dormer with a walkout, and it's also, the street's very narrow, and you'd kind of have to strain your head to look up to see it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is a bump out at the back. And that's going to be both a gym and double as a bedroom as well, because their kids are mostly in their teenage years. They're coming and going from university. It'll likely be used for a bedroom for a few years until they all go through university and they've moved on, and then it'll become a gym. So her concerns there are the extra. If you look at the image on the screen right now, you can see there's an existing masonry privacy wall right now. It's 6 foot 9 inches. We're proposing to add an additional 3 foot 3 inches. The deck is 20 feet wide. So even though it might reduce a little bit of her sunlight, you can see that overall there's still going to be a lot of sunlight. She's concerned about her views, but if you also look in the direction of the addition, you'll see that it's just condos. And the main view is looking east, and of course, we're not building on the east side, we're building on the south side.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and just one quick last thing. She was concerned about privacy if we put a window on the bump out on her side, on the north side, looking onto her deck. We could technically do that with a fire shutter according to the building code, but we are happy to, not put a window on her side to allow her to have the privacy.
Okay, thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have a representative of this 81A Lowther, the neighbor that is here in the audience, and they would wish to speak.
Okay, sure, yeah, please come up. Yeah, we didn't know that, yeah.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
for accommodating
No, it's fine. Yeah.
familiarity with the process.
Is your red button on, sir?
I'm sorry?
Is the red button on in front of you?
It is not.
Okay, push it. There you go.
Thank you for accommodating us, sort of last-minute addition to the agenda. My name is Chris Flood. I'm at 279 Heath Street East. I'm here as, I guess, agent for Patricia Flood, who is the neighbor to the immediate north of the property where the addition is being proposed. And really the purpose is just I had not anticipated that the applicant would address the concerns that were expressed in the letter that my mother, the resident at 81A, expressed. And so just wanted to ensure that the committee had taken into consideration those concerns. In particular, the loss of sunlight the view to the south, the sight lines to the south, and just the additional massing and lack of conformity with the character of the rest of the townhouse development, which, as you can see, I think from the photos, is a series of 5 adjoining townhouses. The reason, and just to be very brief, the reason that the submission was made and my mother objected to the application was just that she believes that it will have negative impacts to her use and enjoyment of the property, and would hope that the committee would take that into consideration in making its decision. So I thank you very much for the time. Won't keep you any longer, but appreciate the opportunity to speak.
That's great. Do we have questions to this speaker? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I guess the agent already addressed some of the concern, but can we bring back the agency whether she have additional comments to the concerns this speaker raised?
Yes, hi, thanks. Yeah, and again, I'm happy to offer rebuttal. I already addressed and gave you a visual image of the views on the deck. The views to the south is literally just the tops of condos. So adding an extra 3 feet, 3 inches will literally just remove, I think, 3 stories of condos that you won't be able to see. The important view is to the east, and we're not touching that. We're not building on that side, of course, because that's all on her property. With respect to the character of the townhouse complex, it was built in 1982. It's substantially out of date. As I mentioned, it's almost 2,900 square feet, and it has 2 bedrooms in it, believe it or not. So we are adding 5. We're supporting a family of 8. And so I think overall, if those teenagers and adult children weren't accommodated in this home, they'd be looking for housing elsewhere in the city. And actually, other neighbors have said informally off the record that one neighbor in particular said that she was actually happy that one of the attached neighbors said that nothing has changed on this muse for a long time, and she's happy to see changes happening. So I think I don't think the layout and the design of these units are in sync with the way people live today, and they certainly don't offer bedroom space for very many people, considering what a large building it is. So I think that addresses. I think I've addressed most of the concerns, if not all of them.
Thank you. Yes. Any question to the applicant? Okay. No more questions. We are in committee now. Yes. Okay. Yes, please. Yeah.
Unless there's comments, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. I do find, again, it minor in nature. I think there's been a good dialogue with the people who've expressed interest and good communication. I also agree that when you look at the section of these buildings, they are challenging from the multiple levels that exist within, and I think this is a great solution and with minimal intervention required. So I don't think there's any heritage. There's a staff report, but I don't think there's any. There's no condition. So as submitted.
Yes, it's a very complex little building, but I think that the proposal is trying very hard to keep within that existing massing. It's just not trying to expand too much anyway, any size, I mean. Okay, that's a motion. Mr. Case?
Happy to second that, yes.
You second? Okay, Ms. McKay second. All in favor with no conditions? No condition, yeah. Approved unanimously. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, the next item is number 30. The address is 90 Roxborough Street East. This is to construct a one-story auxiliary building, which is a gazebo, and in the rear yard of the property, the existing three-story detached dwelling and the rear one-story auxiliary building, which is going to be a garage, will be maintained, which is garage and will be maintained and unaltered. We have received survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and 24 photographs of trees on the property, and a cover letter from the agent, and a tree protection plan. We receive also communication from Heritage Preservation, and we receive support, 2 forms of support by 71 Chestnut Park and also 88 Roxborough Street East. Anything else that we have? No. So we have the agent here.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, and no opposition either, right? So, okay, let's have the agent here.
Sean, you've been unmuted.
Oh, okay. Hello, my name is Sean Grisetta. From Coolif Architecture, located at 386 Pacific Avenue. I'm the agent representing Sushma Chaunaputra and Dale Somerville at 90 Roxborough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do not have any opposition, so I see that you guys want a presentation.
I just have a question.
We have, yeah, I do have some questions. So we do not need a presentation, but we do have questions for you, okay?
Yes, of course.
We probably all have the same question. So mine is about the soft landscaping variance.
I do.
So I think we probably all have the same thing. It looks like your proposed gazebo is being located in an area which currently is actually soft landscaping. So, so you're removing that, and you're down to 22%, which is less than half the requirement. And I guess what we always try to do when we see this kind of a variance is to see how we can do better than that.
Yes.
You know, looking at your site plan and your photos, the rear yard, while extremely attractive and gardens and such, does have an awful lot of pavers, which I guess is the hard surface. And then I guess the panel collectively, we wonder, you know, is there a way you can do, quite frankly, some significantly better than what you're proposing here today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so with respect to that, can I ask a question back? Are we talking about permeable pavers?
Well, no, again, permeable pavers technically don't contribute to soft landscaping. It's a bit of a mitigative measure we use on occasion. But if that's something you're proposing, you can certainly bring that forward. And I guess, is there, I mean, it's just looking at your rear yard, without pulling those pavers, it looks like it'd be difficult to introduce more soft landscaping.
Right, so I understand the concern. I do want to just reiterate that because how the home is pulled back for the setback, and because we have the large garage and driveway, that does give us a limited amount of area for landscaping, and the owner still wants to have space to walk comfortably on and enjoy the backyard. So that would be one reason why the pavers should remain. If the concern is about drainage on the site, the slope of the property is sloping away from the neighbors, and we can divert water, so that won't be a problem. Does that make?
Well,
Does that
again, so
make sense?
I guess we're struggling for solutions. It would, 22% when 50 is required is a difficult play for the panel. I mean, wouldn't be unprecedented, but it'd be difficult. You mentioned permeable pavers. Is your client prepared to replace some of the existing interlocking with permeable?
I believe my client is also in the room, so he is also able to comment.
Well, again, it's up to you how you want to respond to that. So if your client wants to respond, they will have to come up and introduce themselves.
All right. So
no, I understand.
So, well,
but if are you planning to comment, or are you letting your agent speak for you?
Again.
Then please, if you want to come up to the microphone.
We did not know because I don't think that you have registered to speak, right?
I think we can.
Yeah, we can
let them.
But actually, yeah. Before you do that, is he going to answer questions? I still have questions. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. I'd like to. Let's focus on this one first, and then and see if we can resolve this issue. So, if you guys want to come up to the microphone up here. If you're speaking, can you just give us your name and address, please, ma'am?
Sure. My name is Sushma Jobian Putra, 90 Roxborough Street East. I'm the owner of the house. The house, I don't know what photographs you have because we don't have them, but our house is actually set back quite a bit in the front. So we, in fact, have a tremendous amount of soft landscaping at the front of the house. It's, I'd say, about 4 or 5 meters from the hedge, and then there's as you can see, so we have a lot of soft landscaping in the front. At the back of the house, there's no way you can see into the backyard from the street, and the backyard is, where we have adult children, and frankly, the soft space is not going to get used. If somebody moved in after us and wanted to have soft landscaping, they would just have to pull out the pavers. But the backyard, because of the way it's been built, and the garage is actually a separate building, there isn't really, if we take out the pavers, then there isn't a lot of hard landscape on which for us to set the sitting area. We've actually been in occupancy in the house for 3 summers, and I didn't appreciate how buggy Ontario summers are, and so we literally cannot sit outside with any food or drink. We really did struggle with where we could put that gazebo and still have space to sit outside and not be in a sheltered area. And from the outside, when you're walking outside on the street, you cannot see how much soft landscape there is and how much pavers there are. And in the front of the house, you don't have a very recent photograph, but we've landscaped it and made it very attractive, but it's a huge amount of green space, and frankly, putting more green space in the back is not going to serve our family, unfortunately. So that's really the reason why.
It's not as much about replacing with grass. So I appreciate, again, the photos show quite a lovely backyard, and it's well landscaped, and plants and the plantings look really nice. But because you've got so many pavers back there, the percentage of soft landscaping is well below what the city requires. And it's not grass, it's more to allow water to permeate into the ground rather than run off and eventually get into the city's sewers. That's really what the permeability is all about.
Right.
So what your agent was suggesting, or at least contemplating, was there is a product called permeable pavers, which because what it does is separates, you can put those same pavers down, but you have a little bit larger gap in between them, and it has very fine gravel, which allows the water to go down in between those stones.
We would be fine with doing that.
So that's what we are trying to get at.
Sorry, I
as
didn't
an
appreciate
alternative to putting sod. If you're going to be doing work back there anyways, pull those pavers and replace them with these permeable pavers. They're actually, I've got them in my house, they're actually fairly attractive.
Yeah, we're okay with doing that if that would solve the problem.
I think it would help, is what it comes down. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily change your variance you're asking for,
Right.
but it would
Help with the drainage.
help satisfy the concern about water permeability.
So and we would not have an option, we would not have an objection to doing that. And as you might, I don't know if you can tell from the photograph, but there is, you know, on 3 sides of or 2 sides of the garden, there is ground, there is dirt. So we haven't experienced drainage issues, and that raised flower bed is actually a self-contained, it used to be a jacuzzi, and it's now, so there's cement underneath, so I don't even know how much drainage that's actually happening. That we took out the jacuzzi and converted it into the flower bed that it is now.
And all that's good. You know, we have to look at it in a broader perspective, the citywide kind of impacts. And
Understood.
every little person, unfortunately, has to do their bit.
I understood, and we would be fine. We're going to have to do some work in the back anyways, because otherwise the back won't match. So we're happy to have the condition that it be permeable pavers, if that would help with the drainage.
Can I just throw an idea out there? The driveway right now is asphalt. So
It's not asphalt. It's not. It's also pavers. Yeah.
It might be an old picture. It might be.
I don't think so. It's
I'm so
pavers.
sorry.
This is May 2019.
Much discussion. What I'm saying is, when you suggest permeable paver, are you suggesting them to pull out the existing pavement?
That's what I think she's offering to do, yes.
And then repave it with permeable paver?
Yeah, I think that's what she's offering.
To what extent?
Again, I mean, would you be removing all your pavers in the back and replace them with permeable?
I have no idea what the cost is, but if that's what it's going to take, then yes.
Yeah, that's my.
Because I also don't think we could match it
What
if
are we asking, and what is possible to be?
Again, that's what I think that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yes,
Like
we're-
what's reasonable, what's practical, what's relatively cost effective.
Well, to be honest, I don't think we could do half the backyard because it's going to look odd. So if we went with the permeable pavers, then we'd have to do all of it.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, you're sounds like you're doing work anyways.
Those pavers are actually relative. When we took out the jacuzzi, we put those pavers in 3 years ago, but we want the gazebo because we can't sit outside if we don't. So if that's what it takes, then we'll do that.
All right, thank you.
And the driveway, somebody was asking, you may be looking at a Google Maps photo.
Yeah.
I was thinking that if the driveway was in the condition that the Google Maps had, if that became permeable, then the gazebo area could have been.
I see what you're
Since you paved
saying.
it all in the same kind
We
of
did.
Pattern.
We-
It's
we-
really more of just a replacement of what.
Yeah, we redid the driveway because the asphalt had potholes
it
and
looked like
stuff,
it.
so it's done, it's now pavers.
That's what I was thinking.
So one option, we're just musing because it's late and we're tired.
And I can appreciate that, and I've only been here for half the time.
Yes,
But we're just musing about.
My same question, but I would like to ask it from a different angle. You said that these pavers are quite recent, quite new, but before you did that, you did meet the soft landscape requirement. It was grass, it was soft landscaping?
No, it was mostly pavers. We just.
You also paved
yeah,
for
yeah,
two,
it was
and then you
soft,
just
but we don't-
replaced
yeah.
I
We
see.
replaced, because that was slate, and it was breaking into little pieces, and so we had to replace it.
So we were just musing, maybe as an alternative, if you'd rather not pull your pavers in your rear yard as a trade-off, pull the pavers for your driveway and make those permeable.
I think we're going to have to do work in the back anyways, and it'll be hard to.
Whatever works.
I think it's a two-car driveway, so the cost will be
about the same.
like for like.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thought that might be easier, but
Thank you. I appreciate that, but I think it's going to be much of muchness.
Okay, so we're going to put a condition for permeable paver for the existing driveway, right?
No,
the backyard. So the issue is, I think you raised it, Chair. The issue is whether it's the entire backyard. I think the owner indicated that it would look stupid if you did half. It's going to look better if you just pull the whole thing and do it all. Yeah. So it's the entire area of the backyard.
Yeah, it doesn't change your application because permeable pavers still are considered hard landscape anyway.
Right. But this is sometimes we use this as a way to mitigate those kinds of
Drainage issue.
applications where. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Do you want to run it by your agent, or are you okay?
I think we're fine.
Oh, we're
We'll be
fine.
Yeah.
We know who the boss is, yeah.
Maybe we can.
Thank you.
So we
Appreciate
still
your
need to
time.
bring back the agent before we make the decision, right? Okay. Anyone would like to make a motion?
We in committee?
Do we have any more questions? Okay, I think we have asked our questions, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to have the agent back.
No, okay, let's make a motion.
I think, overall, I think the owner makes a reasonable point that the front yard and portions of the side yard are well landscaped. The municipal boulevard looks quite attractive, actually. It's well landscaped, or well soft landscaped as well.
Yeah, we fixed it all up. It was.
Oh, you paid for that?
Yeah.
Really? Well, the City of Toronto thanks you.
Well, we look at it every day, so.
Okay. So I think they've done a pretty good job. And I think with the, very generous offer to replace the pavers with permeable pavers in the rear, I think this is a supportable application. And I'm prepared to make a motion to approve, subject to the replacement of the pavers in the rear with permeable pavers.
Oh, all right, so anyone second? Can't see Mr. McKay. Yeah, Mr. Gogan second. All in favor with the conditions, yeah. Unanimously approved. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Number. It's getting later.
That it's just the backyard and not the driveway, right?
Yeah, just the backyard.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Number 31, 177 Christie Street. The next item is to construct a one-story auxiliary building, which is the garden shed in the front yard. We have received survey, site plan for plans and elevation, and 3 photographs of the subject property, and also a decision affecting the subject property. That's all we have. We have received no comments from any departments. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
No other ones, no other speakers. Okay.
Nolan, you've been unmuted.
Thank you. I could give a brief summary for the committee. So my name is Nolan Bentley. I'm with D&H Architects.
Yes.
Our
Just a quick one, because
Yep, very quick. Our client is Christie Street Baptist Church. They are currently renovating in their church and going through some improvements. And part of that improvements was to find storage for their outdoor maintenance equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose this location that's on the north side of their property, and it's sort of justified to the north side, as there's part of this development requires a lot of new trees in the green space to the west. There is also no backyard for this church property. It's over a 100-year-old building that is built up to the property lines on 3 sides. So that is the reason for the other variance. There's no other place to locate it. The shed itself is a durable precast. Is proposed as a durable precast that should be quite. It will last a long time and be look good on the street. And I should mention that this green space is a community asset in a very built-up neighborhood, and the church is just renovating their existing building and keeping this green space. Lots of people use this green space for their dog walking and even for their own recreation. So pushing the shed out of the way supports that, and that's all.
Yes. This shed is very small, all right? Is it like what's the size of this shed?
I think it's 12 by 10. Let me just check the drawings here.
Yeah, and it's one of those like prefab. I mean, like shed.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Any questions to the speaker? I mean, to the applicant? Yes, please. Yeah.
Shed, what else are you doing with the kind of the yard?
Right. So there's been a few trees that needed to be cut down because they're straddling the property line. They're growing into neighbors' foundations. They're in poor shape. So with the yard, it's well, as you can see from that photo, the chain link fence is going to be replaced with an iron eagle fence. The property line to the north is going to have a wood fence. And then the replacement trees are going to be in the green space, sort of 2 rows going east-west. And along, there's going to be a replacement city tree and an expanded plantings along the side street, Fallis.
Thank you.
I have another
I guess I should also say that this is this whole project is an accessibility project, and there is a sloping of grades to make the building accessible, and a barrier-free lift is going in the church.
Okay. Yeah, I have a note on this file that you have applied for 1-story front additions in just 2024. Is that been built already from the photograph? Is it or is part of the whole construction you're going to do? Or is it?
This project had a different form. Originally, there was a much larger addition planned for the west side. Now, yeah, as you can see by those drawings, it's all a renovation.
Oh, so you're not building that addition?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. That's why I got confused. I didn't see any new addition. Okay, thank you.
There is there is, if an addition is planned, the fact that the shed is justified to the north allows for that addition to happen. But at this moment, there's no permit for that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Right. Yeah, are we ready? Are we good? Right? Yeah. So we have no more questions. So we are in committee. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a comment, maybe make a motion. First of all, I think it looks like there's a lot of investment to make a quality environment back there with the landscape improvements, the fencing, the shed, and really, so I think that the variances are very minor in nature. I think the ones that relate to landscape, specifically if I can get the correct language, with regard to the minimum strips width and whatnot, those seem very, very minor in nature to the kind of the larger concept that's going on back there. So I propose that we approve it with no conditions.
Okay. I want to second. Do we have a second to this motion?
Sure.
Yeah, Ms. McKay, second. And all in favor with no conditions? Unanimously approved. Thank you. It's approved. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, now we are on our last item is item number 32, 211 St. Mark's Road. This is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a one-story front addition, including a basement level, a front covered porch, and a rear second-story addition, and a rear second ground floor deck, a ground floor covered patio. The west side privacy wall will be reconstructed, and we receive a survey site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We received 6 photographs of the subject property, cover letter from the agent, an arborist report, and also email corresponding of the agent to TRCA, and a copy of an email between the agent and also the within natural feature protection. And we receive a comment from Urban Forestry. We receive support from the 7 forms of letter in support from the 209 to 19 to 33 to 25 St. Mark's Road, and also number 4 Varsity Road, and 7 from Siphon Road. And we receive a letter of concern from 213 St. Mark's Road. And we receive opposition from 206 St. Mark's Road. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item.
Okay, so thank you.
Bree, you've been unmuted.
Hello, my name is Bree Johnson from Silver Studio Architects at 21 Silver Avenue.
Yes. You have some opposition, but they don't. They haven't come to speak. But can you sort of address some of the concerns that they have? Because there's quite a few opposition. Yeah.
Did you want me to just speak to the letter of concern? And the letter of
it's sort of like pick the reference. What do you call that? Relevant comments. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there are 2 variances proposed. The front variance is a one-story mudroom addition as well as a bay window. It is that front addition that the neighbor in opposition has an issue with. Our attached neighbor and also our neighbor to the west both have no issues with this addition.
Mm-hmm.
Did find 6 other relevant decisions within the last 10 years of very, very similar types of front additions, as well as some from earlier times before that. I submitted submitted a map showing the neighborhood and all of the other decisions that have been approved of this very similar types of front additions.
Mm-hmm.
So in our opinion, this is minor in nature, despite the neighbor across the street's issue with how it's going to look. We feel that it's quite in keeping with the additions that have been done throughout the neighborhood. There's lots of front additions, a lot of side additions and back additions, but we do see precedent for these front additions.
Thank you. Yes.
The second variance is a kind of an odd one. It's about a structure over top of a deck or a platform, and it's actually just the part of the structure that's over the deck. It's meant to be 1.5 meters from the lot line. Our existing garage and existing second floor are much closer than that, so we're proposing to reconstruct the dilapidated roof and privacy wall structure at the back, pulling it further away from the property line and holding up the second floor addition that we're doing that does not require variance. I believe the issue or the concern of the neighbor to the west was about our windows. Those are a building code issue, and we're happy to look at them with them and potentially change that to a skylight.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah. And any questions to this? Yeah. We do not have any more questions, so we are in committee. Yeah, this is, yeah.
Madam Chair, I think I make a comment and then maybe a motion. What I like about these types of application is because they're making a house more functional, more livable, but they're also in context with their neighborhood. So
Yes.
I do find the proposed variances minor in nature. They also are improving kind of the overall quality of the for the inhabitants of that residence as well. So I don't think we have any conditions. There's no TRCA conditions, if I'm not mistaken. So
No, I think they have to comply with whatever TRCA asks anyway, yeah.
So I think we propose that we approve as submitted.
Okay. But they said that the opposition in number 213 asking for no windows on their side, so can we put that as a condition?
I think that they can negotiate that maybe with the the neighbor, but I think that what they're proposing seems pretty sensitive to the neighborhood as proposed.
We trust that they still will work together, right? Okay, that's the motion. We need a second. Mr. McKay, second. Okay, and then all in favor with no conditions. Unanimously approved. And that's the last item. The meeting adjourned at 4 to 7.
I thought it was 7:34.
6:56.
Yeah, I think it's 4 to 8.
You could stay another half an hour.
6:56. Thank you. Thank you, members. Thank you, staff. Have a great night.
Thank you. What happened?
The Oilers.
What happened to 3 a.m. Agenda? What happened to that?
Yeah,
Just didn't want you to get stuck in traffic on the way.